You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word.
FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Crunch time in the portal, crunch time for the Vols, crunch time for my 76ers, crunch time for everybody in the NBA that it plays in the playoffs. That's the most horrendous product maybe ever this side of UT baseball and their offense. But other than that, Bino, not a lot going on in my world. I'm happy. Because that UT baseball, Bino, watching them play offense, that is a tough to watch product, my friend. How do you plead, Beanstar, on a week where the NFL draft is upon us?
Absolutely, Tony. The first 2 days were just paltry at best. I will give them credit that I thought yesterday's game was the most critical game of the entire season thus far. Probably under more pressure than they had been at any time in the season to date. And they came out and swung the bats better than they had at any point up until yesterday. So a little bit of encouragement coming out of the weekend. I thought they had to absolutely keep from getting swept. And maybe they stayed on course for the Magic 13 that you're looking for postseason.
Crunch time, Bino. The theme of today's show, Brian and I were talking about it in our pre-production meeting. And, Brian, we decided on crunch time. And why is that? Why is that, Brian? Why did we decide on crunch time today? Crunch time for the baseball team. Crunch time for Rick Barnes's super fracacagalistic expiality. People are saying that when you combine already, this is before Jukey Boy on Wednesday. Bri, when you combine the freshman class incoming 2026 and the portal, who has the number one class in the country, Bri? Hit it, Bri.
The Volunteers of Rick Barnes, and another guy that's on the radar is Donnie Freeman of Syracuse. They're in the mix for him, too.
God, Brian's breaking news.
According to Fox Sports.
Donnie Freeman.
The Knoxville's Fox Sports account.
My boys, our boys at Fan Run Radio. Say it loud and say it proud. This is very exciting. Do I think Tennessee's involved with point guard 1 still? At some point, we're going to reveal point guard. Well, we'll do it on Wednesday. We have the big reveal on who point guard 1 is. I don't know. I mean, I think they are, yes. Are they going to get him? I have no idea. Am I hopeful? I'm always hopeful. Look, when you're throwing $7 million around, I think you got few reasons to hope. And I'll say this for Barnes. Hook or crook, John Crooks. This bunch, Beanstar, has gone for it in the portal. You can say what you want to say about Barnesy, but asleep at the switch, he and his organization are not in Knoxville. You guys can say what you want to say about Barnesy, but asleep at the switch, they are not, Beanstar.
Tony, weekend at Barnesy's is canceled.
Mm-hmm. Let me say this. There seems to be a misconception here. People saying, well, they got Hill, they're not involved with point guard 1. They're not related. We told you last week, and we've had pretty good information. So you can kind of you can take this
peace
as
out.
You can take this, well, not peace. You can just take this as you will. You can. And by the way, I want to congratulate my Phillies. I think we scored. Brian, what did we score last night? Do you know? On a day where my Sixers got
I think
beat?
they scored 3 runs the entire series.
Brian,
16-3.
Brian, do you find the NBA playoffs so far in the first round palatable and watchable? Do you think that's a good product for that league?
I saw 2 of the 8 games. My team, and I was fascinated by what Orlando did at 1 seed Detroit last night.
Oh, what, was it a close game?
The other games, I wanted to see Wimbiana, but that game was just too late.
Was it a close game?
I didn't watch a second of any of the other ones because they just weren't.
They're hammer jobs. They're kill jobs. And your game was a kill job. The Sixers aren't competitive. Sixers are a joke.
When you've got Andre Drummond getting major minutes,
you're going to get Drummond
shooting quarter threes.
You're going to get
that
Drummond.
is not serious. That ain't serious.
You're going to get Drummond. All right, let's go back.
You'd have a better chance with Jalen Carey out there.
It's unbelievable, Andy. I mean, that guy can't. Andre Drummond, Brian, couldn't touch the bottom of the net right now. All right,
that's not a serious organization when you.
No, and I'm on here letting a Celtic fan laugh in my face. You know why? Because there's not a damn thing I can do about it. You know why? Because it's the truth. You know why, Bino? You want to hear a crazy stat? We've played the Celtics like 9 times in the last 40 years in the playoffs, Bino. You know when our last time we beat them was? When Celtic fans were chanting, "Beat LA" at us in 1982. Beat LA. Beat LA. Do you remember that, Bino?
I do remember that.
Mm-hmm. That was the last.
I was still following the league at that time.
That was the last time. The last time my Philadelphia 76ers. Buddy, in 69, I was 21. I was a 17-year-old with a full head of hair, full of you-know-what and a little bit of vinegar. Go on, my boy.
The World's Fair hadn't even started yet, I don't think.
No World's Fair. I mean, God, bro, I rub it in. So, I agree with Bino. Will Heflin was in here yesterday. More on that later. I don't get the baseball team. I want to get them. There's just no life there. Bino, when you don't hit the baseball, though, there's no life, right? But this manager just... I call him a manager. He's got the analytics guy standing next to him all the time. They do all these shifts and all this stuff. It's just all by the book. It's just not, I don't know, Bino, it's just not my thing. I'm sorry. And it's not that they're losing, but, it's just not my thing.
Yeah, I mean, Tony, the whole thing's about swinging the bats.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. College baseball, you absolutely have to hit the baseball, and this Tennessee team just hasn't done it consistently.
But these shifts they're doing are miserable. They're constantly shifting, and the ball's constantly being hit where the shift isn't. It's miserable.
I'm not an analytics guy, Tony. I don't like that stuff either.
I hate it.
But this team's problem is not fielding. It's not shifting. It's not pitching. It's hitting the baseball. That's this team's problem. Levi Clark's your leading slugging
by 150 points. Yeah,
and he's he's by everyone's count had a pretty down year. They just haven't swung the bats.
Mm-hmm. So,
matter of fact, the little things, this team has done better than the teams we've seen in the past. We haven't given up nearly as many runs.
No.
On the base paths.
No.
We've been a better fielding team than our past teams, but you got to hit the baseball.
Yeah, and when you don't hit it, you look lifeless.
this is kind of a depressing stat here. They went from the Vandy series at home in 23 through the South Carolina series last year. They won 16 out of 18 SEC series.
Oh.
Didn't drop one of them at home. Won all their home SEC series. Oh. Since then, they've won 3 SEC series out of their last 12.
Oh.
And they've lost every single one at home except the Missouri series this year.
Say it again, Bri.
From 23 Vandy series, where they got that sweep to turn that season around.
Matt Diskin was talking about that yesterday on a post game.
Through the South Carolina series last year in 25, they won 16 out of 18 SEC series. They won every single one of those at home. And they've lost 9 out of 12 SEC series since. And lost every series at home except the Missouri series, which doesn't hardly count.
Well, here's the thing. Like the Throaty today, and I'm not trying to take the air out of the baseball team, because look, we do the post game, and I'm for them, not against them. And we're going to be at Calhoun's on Friday. It's Thursday through Saturday series this week. But Throaty says, you're 8-10 in the league, 26-14 overall. You got 4 league series left. You got Alabama, you got at Kentucky. You got Texas, who you're not going to touch, and then you got at Oklahoma, which is going to be very difficult. The truth is, without getting swept, this team would finish 14-16 in the league if they could win 2 series, the Throat said today. Bino, you think this team's going to win 2 series from here? In light of what Brian just said?
I do not, Tony.
I don't either.
My hopes is that you find a way to win the Alabama series. Find a way to win 2 out of 3 against Alabama at home next week. Then you only have to win 1 game in each of you keep from getting swept in your final 3 series, and you get to 13.
Well,
I'm hoping this team gets to 13.
Kentucky's 8-10 like the Vols are. They're 26-12. Tennessee's 26-14. They dropped 2 out of 3 to Vandy. I think that's a winnable series.
I'm going to tell you this, okay? This Brown guy in left field right now is a bad baseball player. Look, it's one thing to be the hitter that he's been. Okay, that's fine. When you go out in the outfield and you have the kind of weekend he had, he lunged at a ball Saturday night in a close game. You just can't do that. Did y'all see that play? You just can't do that. I mean, you just can't.
No, you can't play
You're
that
in a close
into
game.
a triple out there. Tony.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Can't do it.
I played that position because I suck. They threw me in left. I played a little center too. But the left field deal, I mean, yeah, the ball comes at you in funny angles, whatever. The worst you can do is get in front of that ball and let it hit you. You cannot do what he did. That's an 11-year-old. You can't do that when you're 11 in travel ball. So this guy, and he mopes up to the plate. He's just mopey looking. No offense to him. I mean, what are we doing? They paid that guy good money to come here, Beanstar. He's supposed to be the 7th pick in next year's draft, allegedly.
Yeah, he's just having a really, really tough year, Tony. And I think that he's begun to take his struggles at the plate out in the outfield with him, and that's an easy thing to do. But I mean, believe me, there's no one that knows better than him that he's not playing close to his capabilities.
I mean, and you know what they need to do? Those guys are said it on the post game last night. Somebody called Heflin and pinned him down, and Will said, "You know what? He needs some time off. He does. That guy needs some time off." I tell you what I would do with him if I were them. I'd take him and try to make a pitcher out of him to help me in the stretch drive, because they need another arm out of that bullpen. You cannot compete with only 2 arms you can count on out of your bullpen. That's a very difficult thing to do, especially when, as Brian said, and as you guys are pointing out, with our offense, the margin for error is so slim. I felt so bad for the 2 Saturday pitchers. The Appenzeller guy was just out there too long, and the air kind of comes out of him. But hell, Beanstar, if you don't score a run, eventually the air is going to come out of your pitching staff. I mean, that's only natural. Those guys can only hold it together for so long. The hitting on Friday and Saturday was embarrassing.
Ole Miss. I want to tip a hat a little bit to their first two starters. They were outstanding. Obviously, we didn't put them in any kind of situation. I mean, they almost never had to throw out a stretch. So that's never a good thing. But yeah, and we do have some bullpen depth issues and role issues. But for the most part, it comes right back to not putting pressure on the other team offensively.
Jaybird 1499 says something that a lot of people are thinking, which is this, Bino. He says, I'm discovering that we really didn't have a baseball program. We had a baseball coach. That thing is not sustainable without Tony V.
I hope that's not true, Tony. I hope we see a similar deal to what Texas A&M has gone through. I mean, Texas A&M's laying up there at 12-5 now in conference. After having just a horrendous year last year for them. So I'm hopeful that that's going to be our case. But we have to prove that that's the case going forward.
Here's my fear. I'm gonna say it out loud. My fear. A lot of the fans that bought tickets this year are bored to no end by this product, because really all you have now is Sterling hitting screaming at you, telling you how much fun you're having while your team puts the ball in play 3 times. That's a rough watch, y'all. That's tough putt, Coach, as they say on the golf course. That's tough putt. And look, I'm 100% locked in. You know me. I'm 100% for the baseball program. I want this guy to succeed. That's tough putt, Coach. That weekend right there, that's tough ask. And here's the tell about this whole thing. They were talking about how they had the biggest crowd in school history Saturday. That's a big promotion. Okay, fine. No, you didn't have the biggest crowd. Because when they showed the cameras behind the home plate, people weren't even there. I mean, I don't know. I love Danny, and I love all the promoting and the promotion and all the stuff he gets in his head and in his alleged mind. But, y'all can't. And I realize there were people out in the outfield and down the landing, and that's fine, and we jammed some people in there. Hey, listen, when you got a few thousand empty seats, you can't. And here's the big money people, the people you're counting on. This is 2 years in a row now. They're not coming. They're bored by it. And you know why they're bored? Because you're not hitting the long ball. Last year's team didn't. And you're not winning at home, as Brian said. Brian, how many series now in the last 2 years have we won at home? This is just facts I'm dealing in here. We got all that attention by playing out loud baseball, which was to say the way East Tennesseans love their sport. They love emotion. They love teams that comport themselves in that manner. They loved Tony Vitello. They liked and loved that one season of Lane Kiffin. They love that stuff. They love the Josh Heupel scoring all the points early on. We lock into that stuff. We just do. And we also love gritty, hardworking, roll your sleeves up characters. That's another thing we love here. I don't see that on that baseball team. I don't see rolling their sleeves up. Do you, Bino? I see a bunch of showcase kids that literally almost can't play.
Tony, I just really believe that this team has put a tremendous amount of pressure on itself from the very start to prove that the guy that they backed is the right guy for the job, and to prove that they're the right guys to be wearing the Tennessee uniform. And I don't think that it doesn't appear to me that they played with a lot of joy. So I just think it's a team that is pressed from the first day. I think most everyone that we put out there on the field is a better baseball player than they've shown to this point.
And they just don't look fun. I know when you don't hit, it's not fun, but I just don't see. I saw a little bit of that in that Georgia series where those guys stood there and let that ball hit them in the foul ball. But I just don't sense a lot of pop from these guys, man. Pop. I mean, talk some trash, throw a bat, show a little emotion, do something.
What if they just held on to a couple 5-run leads? How would you view this team?
Dave reminds me of last year's team hit the long ball. Dave, at times they did, but at times they went dormant. There were times last year offensively. I mean, that's how we managed to not win a series last year, Dave, in our building from April on. Brian, in the last 2 years, it's 2 series, right? So far, and Missouri twice. So it's 3 series, right? If you count Missouri twice.
They won in 25. They won 1 home series out of 5, and that was Florida on a sweep. And they've won 1 home series this year against Missouri.
Out of 3?
Out of the first 3, yes. So that's 2 out of 8.
I mean, that's a tough putt, Coach, to try to get these people to renew their season tickets. And I'll tell you what, Tennessee sent a thing out 6 weeks ago, or about 3 weeks ago, saying you're going to get them at the same price, which tells me internally they knew this was coming. Because Danny White doesn't do anything for the same price. Okay? He just doesn't. It's really, 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 really odd watching these guys. And Taylor had a great call yesterday. There's just I don't see anybody out there going, hey, this is my team. Do you, Bino? Whose team is this? Player-wise, you got to have that in your culture in baseball. You've got to have somebody you can point to and go, hey, that's our guy, man. That's our guy right there. You know, Craig Jenkins says it's called running the room. Who runs that room? Who runs that room?
Yeah, no one has stepped up to take that role, Tony. They haven't.
And that's what Tony was so good at. Tony was so good at cultivating that room running thing. He understood that so much.
I think the biggest key is I think you needed someone who had been in the program for several years to kind of step up and take that role. And the existing, the core players just haven't done that or haven't been capable of doing that. And you know me, Tony, baseball's not football. And no. all of that rah stuff, all the excitement in baseball comes from stringing hits together. Mm-hmm. That's what gets teams going, and this team doesn't do.
Like when your Yankee team last year, Bino, went dormant, that's what they quit doing. When you quit hitting the baseball, the first thing fans say about a team is they look dead.
Yeah.
And then they become unwatchable. Like, I'm gonna give you a little secret, okay? If you think I watched the Phillies for 5 seconds last night, you're out of your damn mind. Okay? Joshy boys, in your face, Braves went. I'm like, okay, I care less. First of all, it's April. Secondly, we're not any good. Thirdly, it's April and we're not any good. But other than that, I'm really tore up about it. I'm not going to sit there and waste my precious time on a bunch of aging, losing. Those guys those guys do nothing for me. They've got the Crawford kid in center field. I want to watch him. This Tennessee baseball team feels like my Phillies. I mean, they're just such a hard watch. And I'll tell you something else. It's a good thing they added on in the extra innings or late innings yesterday. Because, Bino, if that thing, Will and I were talking before we went on, if that thing's a 2-run game in the 9th inning, Bino, what's happening? I'll tell you what's happening. That kid, that Becerra guy, they're going to throw him another ball straight down the middle with a man on base. That was what's going to happen. Have you ever seen a team, Bino, give in to more hot hitters than our guy right now? Our head coach and this pitching coach. Do they understand? Do they watch a game? I mean, I'm not being critical here. I'm not. I'm trying not to be critical. Do these guys watch a game?
You're failing miserably.
Bino, how many times are they going to throw the hot hitter from the other team? When we watched Jay Johnson 2 weeks ago, walk not one but two guys. Every time they came up and said, okay, the rest of you guys are going to beat us. The rest of you, I don't care if it's a man on base. I'm walking you. I don't care if you're not supposed to do that. I don't care what score is. You are not going to beat us. I'm putting you on base, or I'm just not going to give you anything to hit. Not only do we not do that, we throw cookies. I mean, the Becerra guy looked like a beach ball to him at the end. Bino, we pitched to him every freaking time, and he was hammering the ball. Beanstar? I don't want to be critical, though. It's not my nature.
Yeah. That team, Tony, I don't know how that team hasn't won more baseball games in this league than they've. Of course, they were on like a
six-game winning
streak in the league or something when they came in here.
Yeah,
8 overall.
They've gotten hot.
Something like, I mean, after their first two, but that's the first time all year when I've looked out there and physically thought, this is men against boys.
Yeah,
that was a huge baseball team that swung the bat extremely well.
It's another thing for the Vitello era. Bigger people. You had bigger players than they had.
Yeah.
Did Tony run from this
again?
team?
I haven't noticed that this year.
Yeah.
Until this past weekend, I think Ole Miss is going to dwarf most anyone.
They're huge
that they go out there against because they've got a huge baseball team with a bunch of men, and that's a team that's going in the right direction as far as postseason play.
All right. Let's ask a question here, and then we'll take a timeout. Then we'll get in the basketball portal. Then we'll get some calls in. No calls yet. Bino, did Tony run from this baseball team when he got that opportunity? In other words,
no.
If they would have had the 2024 roster and the Giants would have called him, would he have still gone? Or was the decision made easier by this ball club they have?
Tony, I still believe what I believed the day that he left, and that's that when you're offered one of the top 10 jobs in your entire profession, you take it. He was offered an opportunity to do something no one else had ever done, and that's go from college without a second of professional baseball experience and be a major league manager. I don't care if Danny White was the AD. I don't care if his daddy was the AD. I don't care what his roster looked like. He's taking that job.
Brian Hartman, what say you?
He doesn't get on their radar if they don't win a natty here first. I keep wondering, I keep going back and forth to, I kind of wish in a way that they had just tanked in 25 after winning the natty, so maybe he doesn't get on the Giants' radar, to thinking that even if he's over there now, this team and season may not look drastically different than it is. I keep going back and forth between those two things.
Brian, they borderline last year. If they didn't have that great finish to the season, they could have tanked that thing out. If you think about it.
And some of the problems you've been talking about
were here last year.
This year were there last year.
That's exactly right. This whole thing about
except for Liam Doyle in the series. That's exactly.
If we don't get those two guys from Ole Miss, it's a bunch of turd players. It's just like we're having right now. I mean, no offense. Look at it. If you don't get those two guys from Ole Miss last year and the kid from Louisville, these other guys are being who they are. and who they were. I mean, no offense. No offense. Here's the other thing. It's really easy to blame Elander for all this. I don't blame him for it. He inherited a very tough spot, and they weren't that good last year. They weren't. And I love Tony. And I'm cheering for Josh Elander. But, man, last year's team did a lot of this stuff, like Brian's saying. They had weird pitching. They gave up leads. They kicked balls around. They did what the kid did in left field the other day. And I realize some of that's college baseball. I understand that. But, man, Brian, read that stat again. That Vanderbilt, the home runs, the 2 home runs at night. Read that again, Brian.
Starting with the Vanderbilt 23 series, they won 16 of 18 SEC series between then and the 25 South Carolina series. And since then, they've only won 3 out of their last 12 SEC series. They've dropped every single one of them at home except one, after not losing a home series for almost a 2-year stretch.
It's pretty crazy, Bino. This is not a this year thing, to be fair to Josh Elander, Beanstar. It's very interesting, isn't it, Beanstar?
Yeah, it is, Tony. And Tony, I've said Tony was a generational manager, coach.
Yep.
For baseball. We're unlikely to see another of his ilk, but I'm not sure that he would have made any difference this year with this team. The roster was put together before he left.
Correct. This is his team. That's
his
correct.
roster.
That's correct.
And I don't. Maybe he was the program. Maybe that's what we see going forward.
But you know what? Even last year's team
I'm not sure this
slid.
team was going to be any good, whether he was here or not.
Even last year's team slid. That's right. I think what we were thinking was, and last year's team super regional. That's nothing to sneeze at. Last year's team, them and LSU were doing that thing where every other year somebody was going to dominate, and that's kind of what we were expecting if Tony would have stayed, and who knows? I think they'd be in a similar spot if he was coaching. Now, they'd be having a little more fire, and he'd have gotten thrown out of a few games and all that, and he'd be out there doing himself. But, this Elander guy is going to have to come out of a shell and start doing shows and stuff. That's another thing. Because they're not going to sell their building out next year. They're just not. I'm here to tell you.
Here's what I want. Here's what I do wonder, Tony, going forward.
Yes.
And that, Tennessee football and Tennessee basketball fans,
yep,
that is ingrained in their life. They're going to be there regardless. And they're going to come back after bad years regardless. It remains to be seen if Tennessee's baseball following is the same.
Faxes.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet.
Recruiting after this.
Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready, because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols!
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Got a plumbing or HVAC problem at home? Whether it's an AC that won't cool, a furnace acting up, a clogged drain, or a water heater problem, Pipe Wrench Home Services is ready to help. Right now, when you schedule any HVAC or plumbing repair, your service fee is waived with the completed repair. That means expert help fast without the extra cost just to show up. Our certified technicians will quickly diagnose the issue and provide reliable solutions to make your home comfortable again. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when help matters most. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. Schedule your repair today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Service fee waived with completed HVAC or plumbing repair. Restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols.
Basilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company. It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to B.
Fired up, focused, and prepared as we welcome you back. 865-200. 5402, the numero do. WrestleMania weekend has come and gone. See, I think Bino's right. I think our baseball fan likes a little wrestling with their baseball. And I'm not sure if you're just going to field a team and approach it that way unless you win big, that people are just going to come out. I think they want a little show with the show, if you know what I mean. All right, I want to go through some transfer portal stuff with you. And we've reached out to our bureaus for any updates that we have today. I do want to go through a couple of odds and ends and items, okay? First of all, I find it phenomenal, the job that Rick Barnes and his program have done, okay? Orange Throat wrote today over at tclub.team where we're doing a great job covering the basketball portal. It's pretty wild. Basically, to this point, everything that they've wanted to happen has happened. And when I say everything, I mean everything to this point. They've gotten every guy they want to this point. And they believe they're getting Juke Harris. I'm operating under the supposition. Here's the deal with Juke Harris. I told you this the other day. I believe he's coming here. I believe they've encouraged him to take his time. I believe, and we'll talk about this down the line, how this all came to be. But I believe that they are encouraging him to take his time, to go through the NBA stuff, knowing that he's coming here. He's coming here. They believe that. They believe that. Now, Bino, do you want to hear a Negative story? And should I read a few of his texts to me in the middle of the night, Saturday night? Or do you want me to get into the transfer portal stuff? Because Negative over here on YouTube is saying we're still not across the finish line. Because Negative's pissing me off, I think is what I'm trying to say. Should I get sidetracked by him and his hijinks, or should I just continue on here? You tell me what to do.
No, you continue on, Tony.
And then we rip Negative later? Can I come back and rip Brian? Can I come back and rip Negative?
I want to hear Negative now. You've got me suspenseful here.
Brian, he was talking about how the Harris kid was scared off by point guard one. Not Harris, but the other kid that committed from VCU, who we're going to unpack on the show. And Hill. My H's run together. Triple H. He said the whole entire thing is falling in. It's all falling apart. A string of texts. The last one was at 4:45 on Sunday morning. 4:45. A string of texts that began at like 1:30. Once an hour, he was like blasting me with texts. All right, let's go back here.
Dave, nothing is going to happen between 1:30 and 4:30 a.m.
As my father told one of my brothers when he was engaged to his girlfriend, and I was a young kid and I had no idea what he was talking about. I was like 10 years old. And he said to him, if you can't get it done by 1 o'clock, get home. Do not disturb my sleep like that ever again. I think my brother walked in at like 3:30 in the morning. And my dad said something to the effect of, I don't care who you're engaged to or what you're engaged to do. You're still in my house and you're not going to disrupt my house. It was very next level. Andy and Whatnot said, you sure cater to Negative. Do I cater to Negative, Bino, or am I mildly amused by him? Which one?
I think it's an amusement.
Yeah, I don't cater to him. I think he's a festering hemorrhoid on literally the rear end of life. And he's inflamed like a boil. So everything that Tennessee's done to this point has gone according to form. They believe internally they're getting Juke Harris. They believed internally they were getting the kid, the Harrelson kid. They got him. They believed internally that they were going to get, Bino, what's the other H? From VCU?
Let's see, there's Hill, Harrelson, and Harris.
Hill. They believed they were getting Hill. They got him. So the third H, I mean, it just wouldn't be prudent for them not to land him. I'm going under the supposition that they've hit on everything. My belief is that Tennessee still has around $7 million of raised money. Tony, where does all this money come from? Well, I'm gonna riddle you something here, okay? Tennessee sees an opportunity to win at something next year, and it's not going to be football. I don't know how to tell you that. I've got a saying around here. It's called "I didn't do it." I didn't do it. But they see an opportunity to really win at something, and they're going all in on this basketball thing. And they've got a coach that is a rather young, 70 plus, and showing the willingness to walk into these choppy waters and compete with the Dukes of the world. They'll come up here momentarily. And compete with the Floridas of the world, and compete with the Yukons of the world, and the Kansases of the world. And so the point is this. I trust these guys, and they have a lot of money. Now, I said a couple weeks ago in here, I kind of walked down the ledge. I didn't know all this was going to come to fruition, because right now, their class is ranked, when you take the youth that they're bringing in and the transfer portal, number 1 in America. That's not even considering Juke Harris. And what they're still trying to do at point guard. So, Bino, if right now they're number 1 in America, we could use the team, super team, right, Bino? If they get Juke Harris, which we think they are, and then they can do something at point guard that's pretty loud. Would we agree, Bino, that would be super teamish?
I'll go super roster.
So here's the point. You've got a football team that's not playing in the portal. I don't know why. God bless them. You know my feelings. I'm not going to get into it. But this has created a window and an opportunity for the basketball team to flex, which is essentially what they've done. These guys have essentially flexed. Now, what I'm in the process of trying to figure out, because they've been extremely tight-lipped about this, I know who point guard 1 is. I know who that target is. And so do you by now, if you're paying attention. But what we don't know is, and we're going to find out tomorrow, if point guard 1's name by the close of business tomorrow, close of the portal, appears on the list, we're all going to go, oh my gosh, they did it. Or we're going to go, hey, they gave it a hell of a try, and they didn't get there. And one way or another, I'm not going to fault them. People say, well, you're being a sheep for Rick Barton. The hell I am. I'm not going to fault them, because I commend getting in the batter's box and pretending you're a heavyweight, pretending you're a number 4 cleanup hitter. And if you swing and miss, you swing and miss. But you better get in the batter's box. You better walk up to that plate. And you better face the heat. And if you do that, you got my vote. You absolutely have my vote. So the point is this. I don't know. I believe Duke Harris is still in. So do they. I don't know what's going to happen with this point guard one, but somehow they're going to come out of the Harris thing. Give me the other kid from VCU, Bino. And Harrelson. Hill, Harrelson, and Harris. They still got about $7 to $9 million to play with. Now, all that money is not earmarked for a point guard because you got to get another big guy, which they're going to do. But some of the things I'm seeing in the chat, some of the misconception, there's a misconception that Hill means they're out on point. No, they're bringing in a point guard. They're bringing Hill in to be a combo player. They're going to try and get a point guard. Question is, if it's not point guard one, where are they going to go? Because between today and tomorrow, and I would think rather quickly, they're determining, and they're being very tight-lipped about this, where do we pivot to? Now, Trilly, some of you follow Trilly, reported last night, and we talked about this. Christian Anderson. Trilly reporting that point guard Christian Anderson of Texas Tech, who's an awesome player, like a 17-6-5 guy. Interesting thing at Texas Tech, John Adams. For some reason, they've gotten cold feet this year in the portal. And they've let some guys go. And they're not spending as much as they were. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? And so Tennessee's still in, they're still chasing a point guard. That's still going on. Now, whether they get one or not, I don't know. People are saying, well, why they bring in Day-Day and why they bring in this? Neither one of those guys are point guards first. I told you they're going for scoring. They're going for scoring. But they've got to have somebody that holds this thing together. Now, could they, if they needed to, and chasing point guard one falls through, could they do a deal where they let Harrelson play a little bit at the point? They let Duke Harris handle some of that. They let Day-Day handle some of that. And they let Hill handle some of that. Sure. Still got Lumblade out there. And you got all those guys on the floor doing different things. I mean, you still have a very intriguing team. Extremely intriguing team. They're going home run. I don't know if they're going to get there. We have a day and a half. We'll see. Trilly said last night that Christian Anderson's going into the portal. Now, I do what it is I do. Okay? And what it is I do is I pick the phone up and I call Maury today. And I say, hey, Maury. And I was looking on the Duke boards about Christian Anderson today, just kind of doing my due diligence because Christian Anderson's linked to Duke. There's a thing in recruiting that's really interesting in basketball, which is it's worth it to identify the right players. And Tennessee's done a really nice job of that. Tony, what do you mean? A couple of guys in this class that they could end up with were guys they got involved with initially out of high school. And then inevitably they bounce back to you. I call those bounce back guys. You get them on campus when they're freshmen or, when they're seniors in high school. You get to know their families. Duke Harris is one of those guys. Another one of those guys is in Duke's signing class. And we're kind of putting pieces together here. I'm not saying this is going to happen. For all I know, Christian Anderson is hitting the portal to go to Florida. For all I know, and I'm going to tell you about my conversation with Maury, who's going to be on here tomorrow. Because he picked the phone up and made about 4 calls that I can't make. But he's a part of our team. He's plugged in. And away you go. Darren Rippey's number 1 point guard in the country, class of 2026, committed to Duke. You know what the Vols were? Heavily involved in him. In past years, when a point guard was looking at Duke, you know what we would do? Walk away, Renee. You know what we're not doing now under Rick Barnes? Walking away from anybody. They got him here on campus. He visited for a football game. He likes this place. He likes Rick Barnes. He chose Duke. Now, connect a few dots. We can do that. These slots are very finite. If Christian Anderson takes a bag from Duke, Tennessee would call that Rippey kid and get him. Kid is not enrolled in school. Kid didn't have to go through the portal. They can just get him. Go into the portal, we'll take you. That could happen. Now, Maury Hanks says, and I put this out there because we can't deal in hype alone, okay? I just got to keep it real with you. Maury's our NBA super scout to the stars, scout in the NBA 25 years, global basketball, puts events on all over the world, has a Christmas tournament, Thanksgiving holiday tournament Tennessee played in during the Rick Barnes era in Florida. The guy knows what he's talking about. Picked the phone up and called a couple NBA guys today and called a couple college guys today. They believe this Anderson guy is going into the portal to see what kind of bag he can get, but is ultimately going to stay in the NBA draft. Now, doesn't mean he will. But the one caveat that Maury had was you have to understand, Tony, that Christian Anderson saw up close and personal on the floor in front of him what pressing your luck and coming back for another year and taking that guaranteed college money can do for you in the form of what happened to that Toppin kid this year, which was a real shame. And so I say all that to say that, hey, Christian or Justin Anderson might be a red herring, or he might be real. I don't know. But, again, when you're in our spot doing what we're doing right now, trying to cover this stuff in real time, you have to walk everything out till you get to the end. And I don't know if that's the end. But Maury was told today the expectation from NBA people is that he's going to be a late first-round pick and he's going to stay in the draft and he's going to go there. So, that's that. But if you see Anderson go into that portal and then you see Tennessee get involved with that Rippey kid, don't be surprised. We do not believe at our bureau following this, we do not believe that if Anderson goes to Duke, Rippey's going to stay on that roster. It's not how that's going to work. We do believe that Day and Hill will both be fine with Tennessee adding point guard 1, which will let both those guys get off the ball and do what they do best, which is create. It's very, very intriguing where this thing is going. We're in for an interesting next 36 hours, next 48 hours. People are saying, well, what about Juke Harris? And, you know, we live in a microwave society. Patience. They tell me they're in good shape with him. I believe these guys. They have credibility with me. I trust these guys. Bino, is that an okay thing to say? As we head to hour number 2, that I trust these guys? I trust these guys.
Certainly. That's an okay thing to say.
As I lay all that out, Bino.
You should.
If you're there, Beanstar, okay? As I lay all that out, would you rather have the freshman point guard, the transfer point guard, or none of those point guards? And maybe try to talk Nate Amen into coming back. What would you do where the cards lay? I want to hear from you on the other side. And then I asked the hoops head out there, the ball knowers, what do you think? As we lay it out there. Is there another point guard in college ball you could think of that you'd try to talk into the portal if you were the Vols? If you had a wish list? And you have, say, $6 million to spend. I'm telling you, these guys are loaded with money. And here's the other thing, and we have to all deal with this. Just because you're loaded with money doesn't mean you're going to win big. I mean, the chemistry still is a thing. But the fact that my alma mater is in the box and facing mass heat and facing these guys and facing a 103-mile-an-hour fastball that's got a high spin rate on it, like the kid at Pittsburgh, I got to say right now, forward it. As we continue with more, 865-200-5402. So we come back. It's your Basilio show, kicking it with you on a Monday.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Fan Run Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Gotta love this time of the year. Hoops here, home runs over there, and you've got to get your Tennessee on. And there's only one place, the best place to shop for your officially licensed Tennessee Volunteer gear, Alumni Hall. Hands down, the best store for Vol fans. They've got the latest and greatest apparel for the entire family. Hats, man cave items, decor, and more. Get your Vols grill cover, a plate for your burgers, and of course, that chef's apron for all that outdoor grilling this spring. And accrue those rewards and watch your balance grow online or on the app. We'll see you at Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com and G to the B to the O, Alumni Hall.
Nothing reminds you of how much you rely on your air conditioner like the first really hot day in East Tennessee. Schedule Pipe Wrench Home Services' $79 seasonal tune-up now before the heat sets in. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune your HVAC system to help it run efficiently and reliably while reducing the risk of breakdowns when you need it most. And while we're there, we can also recommend ways to improve your indoor air quality for cleaner, healthier air throughout your home. For more than 20 years, homeowners across Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and surrounding communities have trusted Pipe Wrench Home Services for dependable comfort. And with our same-day service guarantee, you won't be left waiting when comfort matters most. Schedule your $79 seasonal tune-up today at pipewrench.com. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer valid on standard systems only. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
It's baseball time in Knoxville. Your Knoxville Smokies are back home all this week. We start the week off Tuesday and jump right into our final matinee game on Wednesday with first pitch at 12:30. Thursday is Knox Vegas Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers, and the weekend, you know it's rockin' with Feel Good Friday, dancing with the Smokies on Saturday, and post-game fireworks, and it's halfway to Halloween on Sunday. Don't miss a minute of the action. Reserve your seats now at smokiesbaseball.com.
It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to B.
You know, as a fan, as an administrator at UT, it's only natural to put your eggs in the basket of the program that's going right. It's only natural. But, you know, you ever think you'd see a day where we're spending like this in basketball? Is this bizarre or what, man?
Yeah, it's pretty strange to see Tennessee go all in a transfer portal type situation, Tony. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Because you're taking on not Harris. Why do I keep messing this kid's name up?
Hill.
The Hill kid visits Kansas, and you get him. The Harrelson guy is Michigan and North Carolina, and Nega Dave's on here a week and a half ago going, "You're never gonna get him. He's never coming back. They're celebrating the national championship," which, hey, I don't blame Negative Dave for thinking that way. We've all been conditioned to think like that. All of us. And Tennessee is saying, hey, everything to this point in time that you've come to believe about this, we're here to tell you that it's a new day, and we're going for it. Two things I thought at the outset of the portal have come true. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but I had enough testicular fortitude to stick it out there and say it. And that is these two things. One, they have a change in philosophy, and they're going with more offensive players. They have absolutely unequivocally done that. Check. 2, they're getting ready to attack the transfer portal with a war chest, the likes of which we've never seen in that sport, that we didn't think possible in that sport. That's a check. And if you think about it, one of the reasons is that our football program this year has a 6.5 win total from Vegas attached to them. You've got to be great at something in the high money era. And as Bino said, and Bino's right, 6.5 for a 7-win football team with a young quarterback that grows and young players that grow into the season and give us hope for 2027. Some of you don't want to hear this, but it'll be enough. We'll all be dialed into that. It'll be enough. It's a truth. Now, there's a qualifier there. There's a 7-5 football team with a quarterback that shows growth and gives you hope for next season. We can all live with that. I mean, we don't want that, but we can live with that. A baseball team that's bad, boring, people will run from that like a gas attack in church. That's truth. That's the truth. And this basketball team, thinking of them getting home with Juke Harris and then still having another, I think, $8 to $9 million to play with, because that's got people confused. So they're saying to me, you mean to tell me they've landed everything they've landed and Juke Harris and they still have that much money? And I'm going, yes, they do. Yes, they do. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with it. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know, what this is going to look like. I don't know how if they're going to. I believe they're getting home with Juke Harris because they believe that. As long as they believe that, I believe that. On point guard 1, I don't know what to believe because I don't hear anything on that. I hear it's still. I hear it's still a possibility, but like I wrote in the blog today, I wouldn't bet on that. You know why? Because they haven't told me to bet on that. Bino, if this is your dime and your dance floor and you had that bag from here, are you going to go out, as some people are suggesting, you and Brian, then we go to the phones. Are you going to get a functional point guard and a really good big man? You could take that $8.5 to $9 million and split it up and go get a couple of really good players at that position, or you could go all in on a great point guard and add a body for a big man that could block some shots, whatever. What do you think, Beanstar? What are you doing?
I would with all the scores. I'm assuming Juke Harris is in. That's my assumption. With all the scores and the 2 combo or 3 combo guards that you've got, I'm getting a functional point guard and a big man.
Yep. Brian, what are you doing? Are you going to spend all that money?
I'd go after the point guard.
Okay.
And I think you've got enough bigs.
See, it's very interesting looking at this because and Bino said it last. You can take this any way you want to take it, okay? But this is fantasy sports that we're watching. That's why it's so intriguing. And it's so condensed. This is, like Barnes told a friend of mine, this is what used to be 7 months condensed into 18 days. Or even like a year's worth of recruiting condensed into 18 days. And we've kind of gone through the ebbs and the flows, and your target's ending up there, and your target is going to visit Michigan, and this guy's involved with here, and this guy's over here, and that guy's involved. And then you say, commits to Tennessee, signs to Tennessee, And you're sitting there going, whoa, wait a second here. We have a hell of a team all of a sudden. It may not have fallen that way. It might have been that you went 1 for 5, and then what happens? Like some of these programs have done. Like, dare I say, our neighbors to the north, like Kentucky's done. I mean, they've literally gotten nobody. No offense to them. I mean, their recruiting looks like Kim Caldwell's. No offense to her. But that's not a Lady Vol roster they're putting together. It's weird how they're mirroring each other. Matt said it last year. Very strange. But I digress. Because the Vols have, I think, another $8 to $9 million to play with. People on the chat are, some of you are just illiterates. I can't even help you. I mean, somebody just said, Bino, he's backtracking on point guard 1. Bino, am I backtracking on point guard 1? What are they talking about, Bino?
I don't know, Tony. I'm not following the live chat right now.
I never said that kid was coming here. Ever. Like ever. Why the hell would I ever say something like that? Some of you literally probably have Velcro shoes. You need Jeremy Pruitt to teach you how to tie your shoes. And by the way, shout out Jeremy Pruitt. Because he had a chance to go join a big staff after he already took a job, and he stayed at the job he's at. Good on you, Jeremy Pruitt. And
yes.
And in retrospect, Jeremy Pruitt, you knew how to find football players. You left this coach a really nice team the first couple years. I mean, you were never going to coach them because your offense looked like it was from, I don't know, pre the forward pass days. No offense to you. Oh, so Bri, you say go all in and try to cajole a point guard into the deal and spend money on a point guard. That's what you want, Bri.
Yeah, I think that'll get you further in Mark.
And Bino, you say split them up. Split that money up. All right, let's go to the phones. 865-200-5402. And Tennessee in a spot now where they're still waiting to see if point guard 1 goes into the portal. But they're also making plans, obviously. And the plans are, today you reach out to a couple of agents and say, hey, is so-and-so interested in $5 million? Hey, would your client remember? And between now and tomorrow, you'll see a couple surprise guys. Like the Anderson guy, nobody thought that was going to happen. Like the Anderson guy jumping into the portal, that's going to happen. Because Tennessee's not alone. Kansas is in desperation mode. Kentucky's in desperation mode. Matt Dixon said it best, you know. These halves are all going to fight over the same players. It's true. And it's going to drive up the prices, which I don't care about. It's not my money. And really, it's not your money. It's not even ticket buyer money they're spent. It's not Danny White's money. It's the billionaires that fund this stuff's money. And, as we said earlier with Anderson at Texas Tech, apparently the billionaires down there have basically told those coaches, hey, that was fun, but we're not funding this to this level. So, have at it. Have at it. We'll go to the phones. 865-200-5402. And if you want to talk about the baseball team, which I just find them sort of uninspiring, and they really need to win this series with Alabama. Now, I will give them credit. They take care of the non-league stuff, and that's going to help them at the end of the year. If they can get in a spot. All right, before we go to the phones, Bino, are you on team 13 wins or team 14 wins? Because Matt and Willie D. Heflin are on team 14 SEC wins. I'm going to side with Cody Hahn, the Golden Pipes of Cody Hahn, who's out there listening to us, and I'm going to say 13 wins. Which one are you on, Bino?
Tony, Matt and Will have obviously forgotten more about college baseball than I'll ever know, but I'm going to go with 13 simply because there are like 10 teams in the league that are stacked up between 10 and 8 and 8 and 10.
Yep.
And I'm going to go with 13 rather than 14.
Yep. And here's the thing. Here's another reason why. Because I keep it real. They're the Tennessee baseball Vols. Now, they don't comport themselves like that, but they'll draw people. They're still a draw. Now, if it was a Tony Vitello coach team with 13 wins, you're 100% in. When it's not a Tony Vitello coach Tennessee baseball volunteer team, you're still pretty much going to get in because you're the baseball team, baseball Vols. But let's go back to the phones. And yes, the RPI is still strong, and the strength of schedule is still strong. So we go back to our phones at 865-200-5402, and we'll get as many people in here as humanly possible. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Tony, it's Rusty.
Hey, Rusty, welcome in.
Thanks, brother. Hope everybody in the chat's ready for me to be a know-it-all, because that's me and Berto carry that stigma, which we both are.
I find you to be a takesman, Rusty.
We're both egotistical takesmen.
You're just a takesman. I'd say you're egotistical. I think you're a takesman. If we're in a barber shop, I would listen to what you have to say.
I greatly appreciate that, buddy.
You're a takesman.
Hey, I know. I am, and a lot of them are wrong.
You and I have fought and argued over the years. That's fun. It's good. It's good stuff, bro.
And we take a bullet for each other, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so I want to talk about the baseball weekend and the team and where we're at. Yep. But first off, on the basketball question, if you tell me we got Juke Harris in the boat,
yep,
I want the best possible big we can go get that can give us 18 to 22 minutes of rim protection. I'm talking about a guy that's 85% Felix Okpara. Because with all those combo guards that are put the ball on the court and break down a defender, I'm not losing sleep over my point guard. That Michigan team this year would have won it all if McKinney played every bit of Cadeau's minutes. They didn't need Cadeau. They had a 7'4" guy that scared you to death at the rim, and they had a bunch of wings and other dudes that could all break you down, get to the rim, and then they were so good at kicking out to open shooters that the point guard on that team wasn't even important. And if you got a Hill, a Harrison,
yep,
a Day, all those dudes that can do that, a point guard's a luxury for me on this team.
Bino, what do you think? Is that kind of what you were thinking, Bino, and splitting the money there?
Yes, Rusty was much more in depth than me. But I just think if we get Harris with what we currently have, that a big is more important than a point guard.
Because, Rusty, at this point, Harris falls your way, which I believe is going to happen. You're going to have 4 guys who can handle the basketball. Harrelson can handle it. He can handle it. Day can handle it. And Hill can handle it.
And let me ask you this. Who was the point guard on the 90s Bulls teams? Who was the point guard on the 2000s Lakers team? Oh, I know. Derek Fisher, B.J. Armstrong, John Paxson, Steve Kerr, guys that weren't point guards.
Facilitators.
They were guys that went over and stood in the corner and shot when they were wide open because all the wings were handling the ball on those teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, point guard is, if your team is a bunch of stand-up shooters and bigs, then point guard's extremely important. But if all your wings are ball handlers, it negates that. So that's my take on the basketball.
Now, Jim Jones says Godot was elite in the tournament, so he thinks you have a ridiculous take. Would you respond to him?
Godot was very good. I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm saying on that roster, he was the 6th most important guy because they were so daggone good everywhere else. They could have played McKinney all of Godot's minutes, and I don't think it would have changed any of their outcomes of ball games. That's my point.
All
right. Baseball. Nothing has changed from the Tony Vitello era, except we don't hit the same way because Christian Moore and Blake Burke and Drew Gilbert and Jordan Beck aren't on these rosters. And even Fisher and my man from Cincinnati from last year, we're not hitting the ball the same. Appenzeller, in the 7th or so, it's a tie ball game, and he gives up a sac fly. If you watch his reaction, he lost his mind over giving up a sac fly to let them have a 1-run lead because he knew that might be enough to beat us. Do you think any of our pitchers were sweating giving up a sac fly during the Drew Gilbert or Christian Moore days?
You're exactly right, man. These guys, hey, listen, these guys that are pitching know that if I give up 3 runs, game's over.
Oh.
In my building, Rusty, in my building. How many guys do we have underachieving this year at the plate? How many?
8 or 9 at least.
It's crazy.
And Bino's right. It's all because they have a new coach who they fought for, and now they feel immense pressure. So they're squeezing the handle as hard as you possibly can when you go to the plate, and they're not relaxed up there.
Yep.
Now, is a couple of them coming out of it? Did a couple of them get hot yesterday, and they're going to carry it over? Let's all pray for that. But we're not throwing meatballs to the other team's best hitter any different than we did under Frank and Tony. We would not pitch around a batter for the last 6 years under Frank Anderson.
Why?
Because Frank's thing was, if you didn't throw strikes, I wasn't going to pitch you, and I certainly am not going to advertise for you to intentionally not throw strikes. I don't care who's up there.
Those guys are gone now. I agree with you, by the way. And the whole thing about not holding runners on till it became totally embarrassing was kind of embarrassing in our last era. So I will give these guys that credit. But this whole thing with pitching to that kid yesterday, who's hotter than hot, he's hotter than one of those grills that always blows up in somebody's face out in the outfield, Rusty, and they keep pitching to him.
Oh, I know. Hey, under Frank and Tony, we led the nation for 4 consecutive years in 1-2 or 0-2 count giving up hits because we don't make you chase under those guys. And the new pitching coach is doing exactly what Frank did. We're going to attack you, and if you beat us, we'll tip our cap. And I don't agree with it.
No,
what LSU did to 14?
Put him on.
Just put him on.
Put him on.
And if the other guy beats you, tip your cap.
Hey, I don't care. Yeah. I don't care if there's 2 men on. I'm putting you on. In college baseball, you're not hitting a 3-run homer on me.
If one of those bases are open, I don't care if it's first, second, or third. You can go stand on it.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, brother. Good talking to you. Yeah, and Bino, he is right about, because Frank was extremely stubborn in some of that stuff, and they were strike throwers. Here's the thing, Bino. I would love to see this. Would Frank and them, would they have thrown strikes to this Brown kid, to Blaine Brown? Because nobody throws him a strike, Bino.
I think Frank's staffs were going to pound the strike zone, regardless of the hitter.
Because nobody throws a strike.
And they had the luxury of knowing, for the most part, when they were here, that they were going to score a whole bunch of runs too.
That's right. And that's the point. The point is, I'm going to deal with you because I know we're going to put up 8 or 9 a night. And that was the thing, Bino, about this team, like you said earlier, which is very well put. When you don't hit the ball, and this team does field the ball and pitch well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you mostly field, for a college baseball team, field a pretty high clip with this bunch. It doesn't matter. And the fact that you held an elite offense down on Saturday night till the late innings, till Appenzeller finally cracked in the 9th, that doesn't matter. I kept thinking, these guys are going to steal this game. They're going to steal this game at home and get tomorrow and get out of here with a series win. It's going to be a good bang. Shit. That wasn't even close. Did you get the sense, Bino, that they were going to threaten and score Saturday night at any point?
No. It didn't look like we were going to put enough quality at bats together to score any runs, Tony.
I'll tell you what's going to be interesting.
I do tip my cap for yesterday.
Heck yeah!
Again, that's the biggest game that they've played yet.
Mm-hmm.
Coming off 2 games where they couldn't bust a grape.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy to walk up there on a Sunday and start swinging the bat on Sunday, and they did that yesterday.
You've mentioned the lack of fire and not having someone to run a room.
Yeah.
I think Tony complained about that middle of last year, about that same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And something happened on the doubleheader day against A&M after that great game on Friday night. The program hadn't really been the same since, if we're honest about it.
You're exactly right, Brian. They run-rolled
Something
A&M.
happened.
They run-rolled A&M on a Friday night and got absolutely... A&M came in here and literally obliterated them. Obliverat, it did them.
And a great coach, Jay Johnson, he's won 2 national titles.
Yep.
But he's got a turd this year, it looks like. That should be on a 9-game SEC losing streak.
Oh,
so
they blow now.
Any coach can have, that's been great, can have a few of those.
Yep.
And Tony Vitello's 23 team didn't start out real well.
Yep.
So it's happened before. Even when we perceive the program is great, they've had stretches like this.
Bino, Paul Grimm wants to know, who the hell is point guard 1? I think he speaks for most of America, Bino. Will we reveal, Bino, at some point who point guard 1 is?
Yes.
Yes, I'll talk about it after the fact.
I've been exploding. I've been about to explode to reveal it since I found out.
Yeah. Because it's very exciting, Bino. He would be, you talk about super team. All right, let me read a Negative tweet, then we go to the phones. So Negative tweets me, or texts me rather. Let's see. Negative. The portal closed in 2 days. I tried to tell you, and everybody got too confident. When dealing with the portal, things change in a matter of minutes. This text was to me in the middle of the night. A simple phone call can be all it takes. We should have paid and held on to culture guys like Estrella, Evans, and Phillips. Michigan and North Carolina are going all in for Duke Harris. And is there anybody out there good as Gillespie? Amen. Not to mention our down low scoring. He said it's all falling apart on us. I love Dave. Don't ever change. This morning, North Carolina insiders now say since Tennessee got Terrence Hill, our backcourt is too crowded for Duke Harris, and they're likely going to be the landing spot for him. My opinion on this is that we wouldn't have taken Hill if we were going to run off Harris. Hey, you're learning. You're learning, my friend. Don't. I'm not sweating Harris. Okay. I told you in the blog a couple weeks ago. I'll tell you when it's time to sweat Harris, and I ain't sweating that because they're not. But let's go back to our phones. Somebody said Nate Tiny Archibald, Bino, for point guard 1.
wouldn't have excited me the way that the real point guard one would if we get him or had have gotten him.
Back to the phones we go. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hi, Tony. This is Jude. I'm a student over here at UT. Just wanted to call in and talk a little bit about what I've been seeing at the baseball stadium these past few years.
Hey, Jude, talk to me.
Well, so I thought it was a really interesting stat that you guys brought up there at the beginning of the show that kind of prompted my call here today. And that was just talking about the lack of SEC wins at home over the past 2 years. And as someone that's in a master's program now, my freshman year was 2021. And I've just seen the stadium, just the vibes have gone downhill these past 2 years when they stuck us out there practically on Mars out there down the right field line. I mean, we can't affect a game as a student section. You don't see these, the legends of Lindsay or whatever aren't out there anymore. And it's just really a disgrace what Andy's done to what was a really vibrant and fun student section.
Bino, your humble opinion on Danny White basically taking the students and putting them in what I call a cattle chute, where it's standing room only, or down the right field line where they are as far away from the action. Laura and I sat out there and ate some concessions. A couple games we've gone to, we sat out there and hung out with students a little bit, but they give them like a metal bleacher to sit on, or you got to go stand in the cattle chute, as Jude is saying, which I find that disgraceful. I find that very short-sighted on UT's part to not put those students right behind that dugout and turn that into a real serious home field advantage. I think you're right. I agree with you. Beanstar, your thoughts on that?
No, I think Jude's right, and unfortunately, and not just at Tennessee, in college athletics, period. The better things get, the more they grow. Mm-hmm. The group that always gets hosed are the students.
Yep. And you know what else too? A lot of the fans that before it be, and I'm not knocking money people. I'm not. I love you. Listen, I got a ton of money people listen to the show. Big money people. I love you. I thank you. You make a great impact in our community. You're very benevolent. You help out my friends at Fish Pantry. We are very giving and generous people, but here's what happens. When you start winning the way Tennessee won, the first thing that happens is guys like Danny White take those prices and jack them up to the moon. The next thing that happens is all those incredible kind of working class sort of blue collar sort of folks like family I grew up in In today's modern era, we never would have had tickets to the things we had when I was a kid. Because that was before it became big business. These days, you got to mortgage your house. Those baseball tickets are unbelievably expensive. I mean, it's unbelievable. And Jude, what happens is the kids and all the people that were there that made it a hostile environment on that Saturday afternoon when we were coming out of COVID, and Evan Russell hit that home run, and the shot heard round the SEC world, which put Tennessee's baseball team on the map. And then that night that Drew Gilbert hit that ball against Wright State, which will never be forgotten by this living fan, because I ran downstairs and came on here, did an emergency post-game show when one wasn't scheduled, and we were on for 3 hours with a football-sized crowd. People found it through word of mouth, through social media. That'll never, ever, 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 ever be forgotten by this living fan. But Jude, they've taken young people like you, who are the ticket buyer of tomorrow, and they've said to you, I'm going to blow snot right in your face and put you in the cattle chute. Do they even give you guys free food and drink for standing in the cattle chute, Jude?
What do you think, Tony? And if I could add 2 more things, Tony, like you were saying, the great list of UT things. I was there in the rowdy student sections with the Lens, right? I was there for Evan Russell's home run. I'd like to add one more. I was there when was it the Ferguson kid, or who was the second baseman that hit that moonshot against Arkansas, the original Checker game, the first game back from COVID?
Oh, Brian, who was that? Who was the second
Max
baseman?
Ferguson.
Was it
Max
Ferguson?
Ferguson. Yes.
Yeah. I was there when he hit that shot, the original Checker game. And just to compare Saturday night's crowd, I mean, Sevier Heights on Sunday morning had a more electric crowd than that supposed best crowd in UT history. I mean, I don't know what we're doing out there. And, I mean, they're just getting priced out. And, I mean, all these games, we've been so low. And I remember seeing an interview with Rocker and what was the other pitcher that Vanderbilt had that real good day?
That was Lighter and Rocker.
Lighter. Yeah, Lighter said on an interview about how that was the most hostile environment he'd ever been in, how he was, upset after himself, and how really the Legends of Lindsay really affected his performance that day, that we had that big comeback that really jump-started the program. So it's just a real shame to see what they've done with the students sitting them way out there. And my girlfriend's 5'2", and she can't even see the game, Tony.
Exactly.
I'm 6 foot taller, so I can see barely if there's not someone taller than me, but it's just the angle of it is so weird. There's just nothing. They should really, if they wanted to put us out there, they should put us behind the fence in right field near above the bullpen. You can cover up the bullpen like they did for the opposing bullpen.
Oh, that'd be great.
You just can't see out there. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then it's standing. There's nowhere to sit. It's 100 degrees out there for some of these games. It's just ridiculous what they've done.
I totally agree. 3,000%. And maybe that's what coincided with the way this thing is dropped. The fact that the students are no longer a catalyst in there, because when the Legends of Lindsay were behind that plate, that's behind Tennessee's dugout. Because Tony told me, he said, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. We were talking off the air one day. He said, that's the kind of stuff I was talking about. And that was totally his idea, to put those students down there. And then organically, that Legends of Lindsay thing grew. And here's the thing. If Danny White and the university was smart, they would have left those kids there, and it would have been a selling point for students to get into the University of Tennessee. You'd have to wait in line, kind of like what Duke does with their student section where those kids camp out. I think students would have camped out to be a part of the Legend of Lindsay. Do you agree with me, Hey Jude?
I do, and I'll add to that, even when it was the 23 year before we got moved out there, and 24 as well, I believe, my memory serves me correctly, there would be students lined up there right when the gates opened, an hour and 45 minutes before the game, to get their paper ticket, because that was when it was down on I think it was 108 or something like that. It was right down the first base line. You could sit there low. You'd have an actual seat. And now I walked into the Ole Miss game, 15 minutes till first pitch. There was 850 Checker Neyland shirts or Checker Lindsey Nelson shirts they were giving out. They didn't even hand all those out. I was able to stay on the first row of the student section. I mean, it's just the buzz and everything has just been completely taken out of the place. I know the product's not as well. The students aren't out there fielding balls, but I mean, it's just a real shame what over my college career has happened there.
Jude, let me ask you something. How many T-shirts have they given you guys last couple years when you come into games? How many thank yous?
For baseball, not hardly any at all. If you're lucky for basketball, sometimes you can get a $5 concessions voucher that might cover a Dasani water or something, but there's just not a whole lot of things for that. And that's a whole other conversation, how they've ruined the student section for basketball. We don't have to get into
Tell
here.
me about it. No, tell me about it. I want to
shame.
hear about it. I want to hear about the basketball thing, too. Tell me, because that's Bino's right.
Well,
when you win at a high level, the first thing you do is start alienating people, man. That's just the first thing you do. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it was kind of special. The spring of 22 into the fall of 22, I never saw a loss at home when I was a student, right? The basketball team went undefeated at home that year. The baseball team, their only home loss was that neutral site game against Tennessee Tech when we had wooden bats or whatever. And football was obviously rolling that year as well. And the student section was there in the bottom left of the basketball stadium. If you're facing the where it says Tennessee on the court, the opposing team would have to walk through us to get into the tunnel. It was just much more rowdy. There was more students down low. There was even students sitting courtside, which obviously Danny White must have not known about that his first year, because he would not have allowed any free seats to be given. Like I said, on the court when we played Arizona in I think it was maybe 22 when we beat them real good, and they had I'm blanking on that real good kid's name that they had from Canada, but that was a super fun game, and I was down on the court for that game.
I think.
Yeah, that Matherin kid. That's right, Brian.
Yes,
Played
yeah,
with the
Benedict
Pacers.
Matherin. Yeah, he was a stud, and that was a great game that year. And we were down on the court. They just taken the life out of both those. Now there's maybe 20 people that have quote unquote front row seats.
Speaking the truth,
right behind each goal.
Speaking
and there's
the
just
truth.
no real incentive to get there early. There's no seats there. You're standing up the whole time. It's just ridiculous. Football will put up for it. It kind of is what it is. They haven't touched that section a whole lot. But basketball and baseball have really gone downhill in my few years I've been over there.
Amen. Thank you, my brother. Good talking to you, Jude. And I slipped "Hey Jude" in there three or four times. How many
Yes,
of
sir.
your
I
friends
caught
do
that.
the "Hey Jude" thing with you? How many?
Not a lot. There was one old woman at church that would always sing it to me, but that was about it. And can I get one more thing on the way out,
Hit
Tony?
it. Yeah, and please keep calling because
one more
I
thing.
sing na 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 for you, my friend. Continue.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and thanks for giving me some time today. But if I can get one thing on the way out, another concern I've heard in the YouTube chatting with callers is the lack of fans behind the home base.
Mm-hmm.
That's if you try and the student section is technically a standing room only ticket. Like if it's like it was the Saturday or the Sunday game for LSU when they jumped out 10 runs on us, you couldn't even go sit down in the nice seats down there. The ushers would get down there and kick you out. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You think I'm fine. I'm not going to sit there at the very beginning, but after 4 or 5 innings, if those seats are empty the whole game, I think that should be free reign. Get some people on TV, gets a little buzz down there. They act like you've committed a crime or something. They come down and hunt you out and throw you out of that primo section. It's a real. There's nowhere for us to go, pretty much, for the common fan anymore.
You got the cattle chute, man, and I appreciate you. Thank you. And Bino's right about that. They take those kids and put them in that cattle chute thing when they're standing up. And here's the thing, because Cody Hahn made this point yesterday. Yesterday you had a nice kind of almost a little tinge of not winter, but whatever we call this little winter time here. Is this blackberry winter or dogwood winter or whatever it is? Anyway, it's nice and cool, a nice cold front come through. Imagine what it's like for those students to stand out there on that concrete and that railing, and it's 1,000,000 degrees outside. You built your nice new palatial stadium, and you took those seats away from those kids where it could have been a focal point, Danny White, Mr. Vision. But he's Mr. Money. He doesn't care about that stuff. You think those people care about the fans or the students? Guess again. They literally could care less. Literally could care. Danny White could literally could care less about you. I mean, literally.
I want to know what it's like for students at other SEC venues and schools.
I don't know.
Are they close? Are they close by the home plate, or
I don't
jettisoned out like they are here?
To quote my parents, I don't care what other people are doing. It's not what we're going to do. Let's be better. Let's be different. Of course, they think what you want is the kids hemmed up in a pen and Sterling Hinton screaming at you for 3 hours. So, and by the way, Jude, you reminded me of Wilson Pickett's version of Hey Jude, which I love, by the way, where Bino, the Muscle Shoals musicians were behind him as he recorded that Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And Dwayne Allman played guitar on that, Bino. It's an iconic track. Do you like that version of Hey Jude?
I do like that version of Hey Jude, Tony.
And if you go back,
I also love Jude's answer to you that yes, one other old person had done that to him before.
Bino, that kind of went right by me. But speaking of old people in the third hour, I've kind of come to the conclusion that I used to be goofy, and now I'm sort of goofy and getting up there. And I got to just tell you what happened to me yesterday at the supermarket, because it's pretty damn funny. And my favorite thing about the Otis Redding song is how he sung Hey Joe.
That is
And they tried to get
Wilson
him.
Pickett.
Well, that was Wilson Pickett version. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
you
Pickett,
said Wilson Pickett the first time. You accidentally said Otis Redding that time.
Wilson Pickett. Because Pickett did the version of, hey, and he kept saying it, and finally they just said, we'll just go with it. He couldn't get the D.
No, he didn't get the D in there.
He didn't get the D in there. So if you go back and listen to it, it's Hey Jew. And he was just like, it is what it is. We'll take a brief time out. There's little idiosyncrasies. It's such a great thing. And they say that Pickett kind of didn't even know the words when he was singing it. He just kind of did it. And which is what Commissioner Bockwinkel's reminding me. I love little facts like that about music. Dwayne Allman is like 19 years old playing on that record, and it's coming out of him. As we continue with more on the other side, it is a Monday edition after this. Got a dream about buying some land and building on that land? Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contracting. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
College football fans, Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold, refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game. In this, the year of the World Cup in North America, celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. Like our 2026 football Vols, score a T3 TD every time with T3 Vodka, Tennessee's premium vodka. Handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. Right here, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Quality around here isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. And T3's filtered 10 times. 80 proof of vodka delivering a smoothness unmatched. This dedication to excellence has earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades, like a 5-time gold medal award-winning vodka and your SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner as well. Whether you're sipping it neat, on the rocks, mixing your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka, your choice for a premium award-winning experience. Be like Maury Hanks. Score a T3 TD. Ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, and score a T3 TD all 2026 long. Tennessee's Premium Vodka. T3, Tennessee's Premium Vodka. Distributed by Empire Distributors of Tennessee.
Big news, Basilio family. Get ready, because the 2026 Knoxville real estate market is officially shifting into high gear. All signs are pointing toward a record-breaking year, and the energy across East Tennessee is absolutely electric right now. Whether you've been dreaming of finding that next home, looking to capitalize on your current equity, or ready to dive into the investment world, the timing has never been better. Having a game plan is the key to winning in this fast-paced market, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, Jennifer Morris, at 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to Boo.
We're heading for a third hour of power, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how long we'll be on our third hour of power. We have calls on. We'll get those for sure. And the great William Pattison's on the way next with the playbook, and then Dubsy and the gang. The great Bob Baskerville will have you later on. Bino, they played a clip of you and me last week. They played a clip of us on the show and had fun with it. Bino, you talking about and me talking about how at sporting events now, you can't just go to a sporting event. You have to get your.
Did you hear anything?
You have to get your. What did I do? Did I mute you guys? Hang on a second here, boys. Stay there. But they were talking about how. Let me see if I can get you back in here. Do I have you boys back now? Are we back?
I can hear you, Tone.
Right. Bino, Dubsy and the gang were talking about, and Baskerville and Bear Italia, they were talking about how your point that when you go to a sporting event now, any sporting event, I saw some conversation in New York. They were talking about at Yankees games now, they're just assaulting everybody with noise. That's what these people that put these sporting events on think that we want. And it's literally what nobody wants. Nobody wants it. And I don't know where it started, but they were like, yep, Bino's spitting facts. You can't even talk to your friends, Bino,
I don't think
game.
that's what Dubsy said. I think Dubsy said I was like one of those two old Muppets that sat up there in the balcony.
Well, what I've got to say to Dubsy is I didn't even hear his response because Bob Baskerville is making sense. And when Dubsy spoke, I tuned him out. So I just thought they both agreed. No offense to you, Dubsy. Dubsy, because if you like that noise, I'm worried about your, how do I put this? I'm worried about just your attention level and your ability to focus for a radio show. Is Baskerville or Bear, are they in there carrying him? They've got to be, right, Bino? Because he can't, if he wants that, I mean, he can't focus. Why did you drag me, Bino, into ripping Dubsy on the way out here, Bino? Why'd you do that?
Tony, I don't think that you've ever had to I don't think it's ever been a case where you had to be drug into ripping someone.
Well, but Dubs surely doesn't think that. He was just being a contrarian. The great William Patterson's on the way next. We talk about it here at tclub.team. I just stay and hang out.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fan Run Radio.
Yeah, the thing that we do with modern sport, and Bino's so right, when you start winning, you better check your pocketbook because your ass is getting ready to get pounded by these college teams when you start winning. Imagine, Bino, when they put this super team together. Well, I guess they've already announced what the ticket prices for basketball are, or have they? Have they sent that out? Do you guys know?
I do not, Tony.
Maybe somebody can let me know. I think they have a 4% increase for next year. But let's go to the phones.
I'm glad they found some usage for the old TBA ushers. Apparently, they've got them in the lower section of Lindsey Nelson now.
Yeah,
from
God
what Jude
forbid.
said.
Yeah, Jude. Did you call him Jude?
I called him Jude.
Okay, I thought I was hearing things.
I have listened to a lot of Wilson Pickett, so my apologies if I did not.
Jacob said he thinks the super team's going to change the sport and they won't allow it anymore. I know one thing. Tony Vols' team changed the sport. They were kind of out of control, but if college baseball was smart, Bino, they would have embraced it a little more than they have. They've gotten too much emotion out of their game, I think.
Tony, I'm an old man in that aspect too. I think a lot of that stuff that went on's got no place on the baseball field.
Dubsy was right. Dubsy was right. Take your old ass and go sit up in the damn upper deck section, away from
in the balcony.
The balcony, away from the speakers. Hello and welcome in. You are on our extra time overtime. Hi.
Hey, Tony, Zach. I'll sit up there with Bino, even though I'm way younger than you. Not really, maybe like 12 years. I'm an old man when it comes to baseball stuff. But
do you want your senses assaulted? Do you want your senses assaulted at sporting events, Zach?
No, I'm talking about the on the field antics. I hate the feed the that when they start. We gotta feed the floor. It makes me. I bring Bluetooth head ear, and I don't even listen to anything. I just put them in my ears.
Noise canceling.
Or earplugs.
Yeah, that's sad when you got to have to wear earplugs to go to a sporting event, but that's about the size of it.
Especially an outdoor one. I mean, that's. Yeah. But Jude really fired me up, and I was curious. Do they still let the UT students have decent seats in at the big house at Shield Watkins Field, Neyland Stadium?
No, they've shrunk that. They've shrunk that. They don't give nearly as many student tickets away as they once did.
Well, here in my office, I have a little box of some of the great games, football games, and so for the '98 Arkansas game, we had Section D, row 23. So that's 50-yard line, and you remember what happened right on like the 50-yard line of that game.
Yep.
I'm not saying it was because, and there were a lot of us diehard students still there because everybody else had left in the rain. So I'm curious if they've pushed the kids away from those sections in at least in football. I know they've really pinned them up in baseball and basketball.
It doesn't help these places. And you know what? I hate Duke with a passion. I was telling Bino and Bry, here's my thought, Zach, and I hate Duke. You don't like Duke either, right?
Oh, I can't. No, with like the sea should boil before they should win another title.
You know what they get from me? The utmost credit, because they take the prime seats and give them to their kids. You know how much money they could make Danny White off those seats? And Danny would love that, because then he could be on to his next job, and he could show everybody. But there wouldn't be. If Danny was in charge, that's exactly right. They would give like 900 student tickets away. They would stick them way up in the rafters. But Duke, down through the years, they could make banco on those tickets. Short-term money, though, because long-term it would hurt their program, because they would lose the identity of their program. Just like Tennessee baseball, Jude is right. And Jude, if you're still listening to me, you took a sad song today, brother, and you made it better. Because I'm going to tell you something. You are right on the money, man. You are right on the money.
Well, I say I want a revolution, and I want to get those kids back on the 50-yard line or behind home plate, and down on the baseline in the corner, because at least while Doug Dickey was the AD, we didn't. I'm sure when you were there in the mid to late 80s, the student sections never changed. When I was there from the late 90s and in the very early aughts, we never had to pay for like tickets other than our student fees. We didn't. You might have to camp out for some at the UC. But that's the heart of everything. I will say this: I want to give you a shout out and a thank you. I do know that Danny White kept all the UT students out of the Bob Dylan concert last week that I went to, and we used one of your Calhoun's gift cards to eat before the concert. So I want to say I appreciate it for that.
And how was Bob Dylan?
Bob was there, and I enjoy old Bob Dylan. I know a lot of people want to hear, like, they think they're going to hear 1960s, but he's very sublime in what he does. The songs are he's rearranged.
Yep.
Some of the stuff off of his most recent album. If you get a chance to see Bob freaking Dylan, you should go. The show was only an hour and a half, and they make you put your phones in those locked bags, which is crazy. They lock your phones up. So it was great, but we appreciated the fact that we got to have like a $50 worth of Calhoun's on you, Tony B, and we appreciate it.
Love, thank you, babe. Good talking to you. You earned that. As being a frequent and a great caller on our post-game opportunities. Heupel's Razor is a real genius over here on YouTube, and we'll shout him out. I think Tony Source got caught in the troll job by boosters leaked out with blank. Hey, Heupel's Razor, I didn't get caught in anything. I'm not talking to boosters. They're bro. But they were chattering about him last couple weeks ago, but I'm not doing that, sweetheart. I'm talking to people inside the deal. And if you can't figure that out by now, I can't help you. And they're swinging for the fences, and I don't know whether it happens or not. How many games was Tony thrown out of as a student? I was thrown out of one when I was running for president. Wartburg's Fight Club. My wife and I were laughing about this the other day. It's one of the times that so her lovely, demure, Southern cultured mother came to a game. And I was running for president of the university, and my platform was better student seats in Thompson Bowling Arena at the time. It was a pretty simple platform. And then a few other things I knew we couldn't have. Okay? So at the time, I was, kind of a crazy young student, and I really had not met her yet. And I appeared in between the student section, which was over in the corner, and the really good seats, and started screaming at the people. I had a Randall Cunningham jersey on, And I started screaming at the people, "You're in our seats, Bino. You're in our seats." And I was handing out these flyers saying "Vote for Bo." A vote for Bo is a vote for better seats, something to that effect. And the Thompson Bowling Arena ushers and the cops came down to fetch me, but the national anthem came on, and I stopped what I was doing and put my hand over my heart, and they stopped and put their hands over their heart. It was a patriotic ejection of me from the arena. And then the cop grabbed me. I was smart enough just to let the bit go at that point. I took the flyers we had, and one of the guys that was with me, I was Bo. He called himself Bro. And we took all the flyers and just threw them over the student section, like over our heads as we were getting taken out of there. And I got taken out of the stadium, or taken out of the arena. They exited me outside and threw me out of the game. And then later on, I met Laura's mother.
Later on that evening?
Yes, later on that afternoon.
Okay. She was so proud of her daughter.
No, I don't know. Laura and I were talking about that. I don't know if her mom ever put that together. I don't know if... And we sure didn't say, hey.
I hope not.
Hey, that's this guy. But anyway, we'll go back to our phones at 865-200-5402. All right, let me tell you a quick story, then we'll go back to our phones. So yesterday, my daughter went to Italy for 2 weeks, and we hadn't seen her, and she was coming back last night, and so we thought we'd make her a nice dinner. And she said, I want something kind of American. So we whipped up one of our specialties here that I'm paying the price for. We call super nachos, which is like some chicken and everything you'd put on nachos, and then we bake them in the oven, and they're super crispy and they're super good, and I pounded them last night. But I went shopping for all the fixings, and Laura made me a nice little grocery list. And I haven't been to the grocery store in forever. I generally stay out of the grocery store. But anyway, it was like yesterday mid-morning or whatever, and so I basically just got up and put one of my music hats on, and I didn't notice this. Those of you that are on YouTube, but this is how I went out of the this is how I went out yesterday. And those of you watching on YouTube will see that I have a literal dollar bill sticking out of the back of my hat. Well, long story short, I go to the grocery store, and I got the biggest bottle. Laura's brother got us some Cholula hot sauce, which I've never tried. I think I'm saying that properly, but it comes in the bottle that's got the wooden top on it. I got the biggest bottle of that I could find. Turn me on, okay? To that sauce. I got the biggest bottle for that occasion I could find. And in the cart or buggy, whatever you call that thing, I call it a cart, you call it a bug, whatever. I put it at the top and nestled it on top. And it was up there with the chips, and Laura had me get eggs, and I put those up there. Things you don't want to get crushed. I forgot it was there. So I'm unpacking all this stuff that I put up there, and I also want to be kind to my back as well. I don't want to have to bend down. I'm minding my back these days. So I go to get the stuff out of the cart, and all of a sudden, I hear this boom, and I look over, and the biggest bottle of hot sauce I could find hit the ground and shattered. And the two young kids working the register look at me like, if we could wring your neck, old man, we would. And why the hell do you have $1 sticking out of the back of your hat? Which I didn't know I had $1 sticking out of the back of my hat. So I did what I do, which is I tried to make a joke. Bino, how do you think they received my jokes?
I'd say after that it wasn't very good, Tony. I'm guessing they were thinking, You better have 5 more of those under that hat, old man, to pay for that bottle.
Well, it gets better. I say to the young girl, I say, hey, please tell me I'm not the first to do that. She goes, well, sir, this is my first day here. She goes, in fact, you're my first customer.
It gets better from here, honey.
Well, the kid that comes over to clean up the glass, and there's glass everywhere. I go over and I get on the ground with him, and I'm picking up glass with him because I feel bad for him. And then I think about tipping him, okay, Bino? But all I have in my wallet's a $50 bill, and I'm not giving this kid a $50 bill. I mean, I feel bad for him. Would you have given the kid a $50 bill, Bino, if you just spilled the...
I would not have.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for him. And listen, if you're that youngster,
$50 worth.
If you're that youngster, I'm going to bring you something, and I'm going to hand it to you the next time I'm in there. I'm going to go out of my way to go in there, and I'm going to hand it to you and hand you some tip money. But I felt...
Wonder if an alarm will go off or something the next time you go in there.
Dude, when that thing hit, Bino, can you believe... Because it was pretty empty in there, which is... I take solace in the fact that I there were a couple of, like... I didn't tell Laura this, but it's kind of... I can say this on the air. There were a couple, like... I don't know, borderline pretty women that were kind of looking at me, like looked twice at me, which never happens. And now I know why they were looking at me. They were like, this idiot's got money sticking out of the back of his hat. Literally happened. I get home. Laura says to me, and I quote, did you wear that hat to the supermarket? First of all, okay, I get home. She goes, this lettuce is the brownest lettuce I've ever seen. She goes, did you look? And I said, yeah. I said, it's all they had. I said, they were like blown out. She goes, well, you don't have to buy it just because they're blown out. And then I got, what do you call the stuff, Bri, that's made of avocado? It's like the guacamole.
Guacamole.
Mix. Do you like it, Bri?
I love it. I love guacamole.
Okay.
And
she
avocado.
said, Tony, she said, they make it homemade in the deli. I thought you just understood. She goes, you don't get the prepackaged guacamole. She goes, you bought that? And then all of a sudden, then I turn around to walk away because I'm sulking at this point. I'm like pouting. And then she says to me, wait a second. And I'm like, what, there's more? And she goes, did you wear that hat out? And I said, yes. And she goes over, and sure as I'm sitting here after cutting a promo on me, goes like this and goes, you had that sticking out of your hat. Not my day, Bino. Not my day.
That's a rough one, Tony. That's a rough one. Yeah. Those grocery store return evaluations are not always good. And Joshy boy, how about you quit playing parlays in the back and put some fresh lettuce out?
As Joshy would say, gone.
Joshy boy was hemorrhoiding me all weekend with his text. You like the Braves? You like the Braves? You like the Braves, Basilio? Yeah, Joshy boy, I like the Braves. Hey, Joshy boy, remember last year when we beat the hell out of you and you won like 60 games? How many times did I text you, Joshy boy, about that? Let me help you out. None. None, Joshy boy, you clown. Let's go back to the phones. Oh, man. I cannot believe. And then the woman says to me, or the young girl, she goes, would you like to go get another bottle of that hot sauce? And I said, no, ma'am. I said, I've lost my appetite for that. But I did say to her, I said, and the other girl who has experience there was totally disgusted with me.
And I said to her, and she looked at my money out of my hat. And I hope those kids don't know that I do a radio show in my name, because that's so damn embarrassing that I just told you the story. But anyway, I said to her, to the other girl, because, I'm like a people pleaser. I'm like, I'm really sorry. And she looks at me like, yeah, you sure are sorry. You stupid son of a bitch. She gave me the blackest look, Bino, the dark. You ever gotten one of those looks from somebody?
Oh, yeah.
God. I mean, she looked at me like, yeah, you're sorry. I said, no, I'm really, really sorry. And then the inexperienced kid goes, do you want to go get another one of those bottles? And I said, no, I don't have a car wreck on the way home. And they didn't sell for that line at all, which I thought was a good line. I said, that sauce would bring me bad luck. Let's go back to our phones. That glass bottle shattered and went everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Let's go back to our phones.
You might be the reason why hot sauce gets put in plastic jugs from now on.
Well, I'm surprised, Bino, they still make that stuff out of breakable glass.
I was thinking that too, Tony, when you were telling the story.
Mm-hmm. But that Cholula, I think, is like a higher dollar item. And the big bottle, it's like $9 or something. And do you think they still charge me for it? How do you think that goes in that deal?
No, I don't think they do, Tony, but I don't know. Once they saw you had money hanging out of your hat, they may have.
Back to the phones we go. And it really is like it's a playing music hat, and it had money in it, and I took the money out of it, but there was $1 in the damn hat, which you can't make up. I'm not making any of that up. And the brown lettuce, and Laura cutting a promo on me, and finding the hat, and I was just like, wow, am I this roached in life? Hello, and welcome into our next call.
What you say, man?
Hey, fabulous. Welcome in.
Hey, Freddie.
Hey, doing good. Hey to Brian back there. I really liked your stats, Brian, but I really didn't like them either. So
I aim to please.
Hey, guys, I actually feel better about this baseball team than I have in a long time. So I guess maybe I'm delusional or something, but I kind of take that 4-2 we just went against the Mississippi schools as about, well, I don't think we could possibly done much better. And the standings in the SEC, Beno kind of touched on it a little. It's kind of 3 teams that have broken out of the pack at the top and 3 teams that have kind of separated in the bottom there. And the other 10 of the teams are just right in there between 8 and 10 and 10 and 8. So what this Tennessee team needs to do is just 2 little simple things. They need to win the series at Kentucky and the home one against Alabama. Then regardless, we will own the tiebreaker against 3 of those teams in that 10-team grouping right now. And that would bode pretty well for us at tournament time, I believe. And I also am optimistic because we've still got 3 sort of quality starters out there, and they're all seeming to stay healthy. Ford's gotten well from whatever that was he had going, apparently. And Clark, I believe the second half will kind of be the mirror of what his first half was. And those things give me a little bit of optimism.
I don't think this...
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Bino.
Go ahead, Brian. No, you go ahead.
Well, the schedule... Go, Bino. I'm sorry.
It's... The other thing about this team, Freddie, is, and I don't have the number right in front of me, but generally speaking, you're going to win your share of 1-run games in most years.
Yeah.
You're going to get your share of late hits with runners in scoring position.
Right.
And so far this year, this team is so far on the debit side of that at some point that has to turn around for them. Now, sometimes it's the following year when it turns around, but it's an oddity when you're as bad in those situations as this team's been to this point.
I also believe we've got a little bit better balance in the last few weeks. We've got 3 legitimate home run hitters. I mean, guys with batter's eye power, and Clark, Grimmer, and Ford. Now, I know some other guys can hit them in batting practice, but I'm talking about game time. And now we've got 4 guys out there that you can sort of count on for a base hit at times, pretty regular, and that's Grimlinger, Chapman, Wright, and Marin. And then that leaves the 2 people that we're getting absolutely nothing out of, Abernathy and Brown. And the other 2, they are the 2 athletes on the team. And I can't decide whether I want to keep Abernathy on the bench for pinch running duties late in the game when it matters, or put Brown. And I'm kind of thinking defensively, since we don't get anything out of Abernathy at the bat, except the world's best at bunting right back to the pitcher and getting thrown out by 2 steps. So if we ever come to a situation where that wins the game, he's the man. And we're getting nothing out of Brown, basically, in the SEC play. So I put Abernathy in center, got Clark on first, Grimmer at second, Ford at third, Marin at short, catching Grimlinger, got Chapman in right, and Wright in left. And I'm taking Brown and making him my left-handed DH, and I'm taking Lawless and making him my right-handed DH. And that's who I'm going with down the stretch, that lineup. And I think we'll be in the NCAA tournament.
Wow. I like it, Freddie. So you're going to let Brown DH after all that.
I either have to have Brown or Abernathy on that bench. And defensively, I'd rather have Abernathy in center and Wright in left than Wright in center and Brown in left.
Brown has let – that's a cardinal sin in that sport, right? When you let your offense leak over to your defense. He kind of mailed it in on the weekend, man. That was not good.
Yeah, I don't know. But that's just kind of my thoughts, and I don't mind being optimistic about it.
Yeah.
People can have their own. And let me tell you, I'm stretching to be optimistic. I'm trying and trying. But I got a few other little things to touch on, Tony, if you got time.
Always, brother.
Can you remember back years ago when you went to Major League Baseball game and there just weren't any noise? You could talk, you could hear the bat on the ball, everything. I mean, that guy in Cleveland that beat the drum all the time, who, by the way, his name was John Adams, which I always loved. People hated him just for making that little beating noise when the Indians were trying to rally. Well, you wouldn't even be able to hear that guy beating out the stadium. Heck, with all the other noise going on, nobody hear him.
That's such a truth. That's such a truism. Or the fan chants, like the fun chants fans have.
Yeah.
You know, and like my daughter, they went up to an NBA game in Philly, and she came back. She goes, Dad, they're playing music during the game. She goes, why is that? I said, because the product's so bad. They're so afraid that you're going to figure out what you're watching and paying exorbitant prices to watch, that we have to play music while the guys are playing. Either that or we feel like we need to entertain the players so they can have music playing while they're playing a game. But that doesn't feel like a real sporting event to me when you're playing music while the ball's in play.
No, I'm there for that. I'm not there for some ranting and rolling and DJing and all that stuff. But one thing I meant to mention when I was talking about this balls in the SEC, there's such a fine line when you got 10 teams in there battling like that. The Yankees are playing the best baseball in the American League, percentage-wise. And they're running a lineup out there day in, day out that's got 6 guys hitting under 200. So it can be done. You can win, but you got to have some really super guys in them other slots. And I'm a 14-win guy on the balls, because you get there at 13 and you go down there to Hoover, then you better start your NCAA tournament that weekend. Because if you play one and go home and some other team wins 2 or 3, you just never know what's going to happen, like y'all said with Tony up there.
Thank you, my man. Anything else for us? You're incredible. I know you got something good here.
I got 2 little quick things.
Yeah.
I got a Phil Garner story to tell you real quick. I listen to political shows a lot and have for years, forever. This guy on them named Mike Gallagher that's had a show forever on national radio. He's kind of a moderate, so I just kind of halfway listen to him. But when Garner died, he told a story on air. He said, my wife, and she's been dead now for about 2 years, I think, of cancer, said, when we found out my wife had bad cancer, and I mentioned it on the air, and that she was going to MD Anderson in Houston, going to go down there. He said his phone rang either the next day or something, and it was Phil Garner on there. And he had never talked to Garner, didn't know anything about him really. And Garner said, hey, I've got a house down there in Houston. Let me get my keys to it to you where you and your wife can stay down there during her treatment. Now that's top of the line right there.
Wow.
And last thing, Wilson Pickett. The story I heard about his Hey Joe was Wilson couldn't read. And he didn't know the words to the song. He knew some of them, but then when he just kind of couldn't remember the words, he just started throwing stuff in there. And it worked pretty good. So I love you guys. Thank you. Hey, Brian, great job. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Freddie.
Now,
I was going to add to Freddie's conversation.
Yeah.
The remaining SEC schedule, looking at it, Oklahoma just has one more win overall than the Vols do. They're 10-8 in the league. Kentucky is 26-12. Tennessee 26-14. Both have the same 8-10 record. Bama's 9-9, 28-13. Texas is what Texas is, but there's no reason to think they couldn't go 6-6 against that spread and get the 14 necessary wins.
Hey, boys, we have breaking. Hey, Brian, you need to give me some of these nuggets for a blog. I know you're going to do your thing on Wednesday on the Lady Vols, but I need some of these. Like that one stat about the dating back to the Vanderbilt game, that we got to put that in print. We got to cogitate on that tomorrow with Dixie, too. And then probably tonight we'll get a little more information on what the basketball team's going to do as well, as we're hitting crunch time for both the men and the women. Speaking of which, or not the men and the women, but the, what am I trying to say here? Basketball and the baseball team. Okay, so it's being reported right now that new Nashville Stadium, they're getting a Super Bowl in 2030 and a Final Four in 2033. Guys, what has a better chance of happening? The Tennessee Titans get to the Super Bowl by 2030, or Tennessee gets to the Final Four by 2033. Brian, I start with you.
The Final Four by 2033 is easily the answer.
Bino?
Easily the correct answer.
Bino?
I'll go with Brian.
All right, now, will either happen? Bino?
Yes. I now believe I will live to see Tennessee in a Final Four.
You got me. Flyer. My young Flyers have me believing right now. You got me flyered up, flocused, and flared. Okay? Bino, Brian Hartman, what say you?
Yeah, that'll happen.
You got
that will happen.
And you Maroons watching on YouTube have to admit that Flyers logo is damn cool looking. Bino, do you admit that? It's a cool looking logo?
Yes. I'm not a hockey fan, but I'm a hockey uniform fan.
The Predators got a really nice logo too.
Celtics Euro is a great line. The Titans will rebrand again by 2030. The poor Titans. I think they've got a good young quarterback, though, Bino, finally, don't you?
I do, too. Now can they surround him with enough to make it matter?
And those new unis they're wearing are sweet. Anything you can do to harken back to the Oil Derrick days. If I were them, I would call myself the Toilers. I would embrace those old Oiler logos. I would lean into how we've sucked except for a brief period in time. And I would call myself the Tennessee Toilers, and I would have the oil derrick. Yes or no, Bino? Or
Titans
just
fans do not want me commenting on this, but I'll say yes.
Are those Oiler uniforms beautiful? The lovely blue Oiler uniforms.
Absolutely, absolutely gorgeous.
Brian, do you like the new design the Titans have gone to, hearkening back to the Oiler unis? Yes or no?
Yeah, I don't mind those.
Yep. See, he gives them credit.
I don't mind them.
Goldbrick Joe. Anytime I've been at the Fleas, or I'll tell you what, I found a really sweet something or other when I was junking around for Alex Myers, who's a big Titan fan. It was an old, what's that guy's name? Vince Young. It was a Vince Young game-worn jersey in a shadow box. Hey, I gave $10 for it. Hey, Bino, I opened that wallet yesterday, and all I had was a 50 in it. I wasn't giving that kid a 50. I was like, you know what? Now, if I'd have shattered a 6-pack on the floor, I probably would have handed him a 50. But one bottle of Cholula. What do you think of me telling that story on the air, Bino? Just leaning into it in case one of those kids is out there telling the story. I just got to jump on it. Yes, I'm a total embarrassment. I'm not going to lie to you. And I walked out of the house not knowing. Have you ever done that, Bino? Have you ever gone to the bathroom and had like a piece of toilet paper sticking out of your shirt, jacket, or drug toilet paper from a bathroom?
I've done stuff like that all the time, Tony.
Stick it to your shoe.
Yeah. Have you ever had that,
a
Brian?
Napkin or something like that.
You ever had that, Brian?
Oh, yeah. That's happened.
Or my favorite thing is you got something on your face and your friends won't tell you about it. And then finally you get in a mirror and you're like, well, I mean, shit, why didn't somebody... I always tell somebody if you got something on your face.
Definitely.
I tell a client that. If I'm sitting down with somebody and I just met them, I'm like, hey, looks like you got a little toothpaste here. And they're like, well, why won't somebody in my office tell me that?
I show them where it is with the napkin. I rub a napkin over that part of my face to show them where it is on their face.
Go! How about you, Bino? What extraordinary lengths do you go to show somebody? Because I'm keeping it real in here, man.
I would generally just tell them, Tony.
Celtic Drew says, I religiously check. And Celtic Drew, good seeing you the other day, brah. Next time I know you're going to come down there, I'm going to rock that jersey. Because Celtic Drew cheers for Glasgow Celtic. And I'm going to rock that Celtic jersey. He's not Celtic Drew for the Celtics. He's Glasgow Celtic Drew. Not that fake crap in Boston. Fraudsters. Back to the phones we go. I just think that I've done it all, y'all. Okay, check this out. One time, me and my brother, Rich, went to Mass, okay, at St. Pat's Church. And we would sit upstairs. I guess because you could get out quicker. Back in the day, that's sort of what we did. Anyway. And so my brother goes, man, do you smell that? And we were right behind the lady playing the organ. And so he was like, God, that's gross. And then, Bino, swear to Pete, man, as soon as we went to like kneel down, he realized that I had stepped in a twofer outside a church, dog duty, and we stunk up the whole upstairs. It was smelled fresh and disgusting. And do you know what we did, Bino? We got up and we got out of there and left those poor people. It smelled... I mean, it made you want to vomit. It smelled so bad.
Oh, no.
I can imagine the stories that emanated from that, Tone.
Oh, my God.
People you don't know.
Bino, exactly. Bino, you want to tell the story about that buffet?
No, Tony, I do not.
Back to the phones we go. One of the greatest.
Hey, Tony, I got to jump here, buddy. I'm sorry that I have to leave early. But I've enjoyed the show, and I'm going to send you a 55-gallon drum of red ass pills, and I want you to take every one of them before Friday.
Why? I was in a good mood today. See you, Bino.
See you.
They didn't like me coming off the top rope on the baseball team earlier. Hello, hello, and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony, Brian, Joshy boy. What? How'd you like them apples, Tony? My Bravo swept your sillies this week.
It's not like you, Joshy boy, to rub it in my face. You're generally you're more understated than that.
In the past, you gave me a hard time about my Braves on there, so I decided to give it back to you.
Interesting.
Hey, Tony, what's worse? That Rob Thompson in the dugout with the struggling Phillies team, or Bino jumping early?
Well, Rob Thompson hurts my heart. Bino leaving early hurts my soul. I want Rob Thompson fired yesterday, but it's not going to help anything because the Phillies blow. And just like you wanted last year, your manager fired, but what's the point? I mean, when you don't have a team, you don't have a team. You know what I mean?
What do you do? Win a World Series for us? I was kind of tough on the guy. But.
Yeah, I mean, and Rob Thompson got us to a World Series, and
yeah,
of course we're not going to win one, but Joshy boy,
yeah,
I got to give it up to your Braves, man. I got to give it up to your Braves.
Thank you.
It was a hell of a series. I watched. Let me think here. I watched none of that. I watched Stanley Cup playoffs last night. That Sabres team, Joshy boy, coming from
what about that comeback?
2 goals back in the last 10 minutes. Hadn't had a playoff game in 15 years.
3 goals.
Their building is totally lit up.
Yeah,
no, it was 2 because the Bruins scored late.
Gotcha.
But they were 2 down. They scored 3 to take a 3-2 lead. Then they scored the 4th, and then the Bruins scored a junk goal late. But here's the thing. That Sabre team is not to be messed with. They are not to be messed with.
NBA cannot compete with the level that NHL is on, NHL playoffs. That NBA playoffs has been trash for about 10 to 12 plus years now.
Now, Brian, you spoke something earlier, which I didn't realize. The late night game last night, or the 9 o'clock game, was a good game. There was a game you said.
I wanted to see Wembyana play because it's his first ever playoff game, but it was just too late.
But there was a close game. But you said there was a close game. What was the close game, Brian?
Detroit lost to 8 seed Orlando at home.
Oh my gosh, Alex Myers.
Yeah.
Alex is a big Detroit fan.
Alex is going to be sad.
That was not a fluke. They were the better team. Detroit looked like they were the 7 or 8 seed.
Hey, Alex.
And Orlando looked like they were the better team. Orlando was the better team.
Alex, newsflash for you, okay? Your Tobias Harris is an empty calories regular season player. He blows chunks in the playoffs. I hate to tell you that.
Tony, let me propose a question to you, okay?
Right. Propose a question.
We got Harris already. We got Harrelson.
Yes.
Let's say we get Juke Harris.
We're getting Juke Harris.
Let's say we do land him, is what I said. Let's say we somehow, if PG1 enters the portal, somehow we miraculously land PG1. Do you think we are the favorites or co-favorites to cut the Nats down odds-wise?
They're already saying without Juke Harris, Josh, without Juke Harris, that Tennessee has the #1 class in the country when you combine the portal and high school recruiting. So I will answer your question by saying to you, even without Juke Harris, they're going to bring one of the best rosters into the deal. But they still, after Juke Harris commits, are going to have $9 million to play with.
Yeah.
Now, is that any good, Josh?
That's pretty damn good.
I feel like the New York I feel like I'm following the Yankees right now.
Same.
You know?
So, yeah. Nate's got till Friday to make his decision. You think we get it in the next day or two?
No
that
idea.
He's probably going to the
I have
NBA?
no idea. That's such a long shot to me. That's not even on my radar.
Yeah.
It just is, you know?
I think Freddie had a really, really good point about the lineups he wants to see for baseball. That's a really good lineup idea.
Freddie is a highly intelligent, witty, tremendous sports fan, a great man. I've tried so hard to get him on here with his brother to do a brother-to-brother program. I love both those guys so much.
Could you imagine the ratings, Tony, if that happened?
Oh, the Hendersons?
The Henderson brothers?
We could be, you know what we could call our show? Used to be Harry and the Hendersons.
You
know
Tony,
what I mean?
One last thing on the way out. You want to know what I've noticed in the last few weeks about our guy, Elander?
That my chest is getting bigger from all the working out?
No. Our guy, Elander.
That my pipes are getting bigger from my push-ups?
No, Tony.
Okay, all right.
Our guy, Elander, has probably took over the crown over Jughead for laziest coach on campus. See ya.
Back to the phones we go. I don't know what that is, but whatever. Okay, hello. Welcome in. You're on the air.
How my French compatriots doing today?
Hey, W. Lynn, how are you?
I have no idea what that was about.
I mean, that kid. Goodness gracious.
Tony, if you go back to that store, what you ought to do is take a tip to the guy that
I'm
cleaned it
going
up.
to. I was raised well. I'm going to look that kid up.
And I'd also give that new cashier a little $1 or $2.
I felt so
maybe.
sorry for her. Her face. I said, so this happens a bunch, right? And she goes, actually, you're my first customer. Because the girl behind her was training her. And the girl behind her training her looked at me with the most disgusted look on her face. Like, I already hate this job, but I really hate you. You ever been there, W. Lynn?
Employed.
W. Lynn, you ever been there with something like that?
Oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was so embarrassed. And I told the girls, because I have my khakis on, I said, hey, at least I didn't get any on my pants. And, Brian, that went over like a lead balloon.
Yeah, really.
Did you get some on their
I hate
pants?
Feelings. I've broken glass like that. It's terrible.
Yep.
But I think all hot sauces, come in glass. I mean, I just get basic Tabasco, and it's always glass.
I wonder if that's I wonder if that's for the ingredients in it. I gotta ask some of my
There might be
friends.
It might be some kind of poisonous on plastic that they don't want to mix in,
Maybe.
like some kind of toxic thing.
Maybe, Brian.
Well, that could be, yeah. But anyhow, I gotta go easier on that hot stuff than I used to do when I was younger. I know that.
Not me. I
love
hard.
it though.
I went hard. I had to leave during Freddie's phone call for about a minute and a half. Sorry about that.
You gotta do what you gotta do,
Hey,
Tony.
you gotta
I know that feeling.
when nature calls, brah.
I have come out of a rest stop or been in a hurry on a road trip and left my flying down, and that's pretty embarrassing. You definitely want somebody to tell you that.
I mean, it's incredible that people will not look at you and go, hey, your zipper's down. Or, hey, you got something on your face. And I like Brian. Brian says he takes a napkin and shows them the exact spot. How about one time, W. Lewis, my nose every once in a while in the winter, I'll get like one hanging down, And
I know you
and
do.
people will walk around and they'll just look right at you. I'm like, why won't your friends tell you you got a booger sticking out your nose, man? That ain't cool, W. Lynn. You think that's cool?
No, it isn't cool at
They
all.
think they're going to insult you by saying, hey, you got a booger hanging. We're all humans. We all have them. I don't want mine hanging out my nose. A stalagmite or a stalactite sticking out my nose, W. Lynn.
Somebody's eating as
totally
we're
agree.
speaking.
Interesting.
And Brian's that's a good idea about food or whatever. You can put the napkin about where it is to give them an idea.
Yeah, great idea, Bri. You just taught me something. A little hack.
And one other thing, with the fly being down, wear a shirt that you don't have to tuck in and nobody will notice. It'll be
that's
right
a good
hanging over
point,
it.
Bri. You know. One thing I do is I wear that shirt down every once in a while and go commando, and keep that zipper down. Go!
Oh boy, Tony! Now everybody's going to be looking at you when you come up.
Interesting. Well, they're not going to see much, W. Lynn. I can tell you that right now.
I want to commend Jude for his call.
Yes.
And I would like him to encourage more students to call your show.
Yes.
I've been preaching to the choir about what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And the Legends of Lindsay, that was great for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if y'all noticed it, they moved the students just a little bit down further on the foul line, but they were still in the stadium. But where the wall ended, where foul territory came up to a wall, Danny Dollar put two rows of seats for the millionaires and made a new wall. So he put those people in front of the students, and if I'm a student and somebody like, a wife, a husband, a little girl, grandpa, you're not going to yell like you normally would.
Yep.
If they're right directly in front of you. So that happened first before they completely got exiled out there to where the next Artemis mission's going to land, I guess. They ought to wear a T-shirt saying Artemis Landing Zone or something.
That's exactly right. W. Lynn, they're so far out of the game out there in right field that they're literally out. You know that saying, out in right field?
Yeah.
They have such a disdain at Tennessee for their students. It's incredible. The whole experience of going to a college sporting event is interacting with the students and the way it makes us all feel young and back in the game. But when you got the students down the right field line or literally captured in a cattle chute, I mean, what are we doing?
And what he's saying about basketball is the same. I've told you from the baseline to where the first student is, but behind Holler and Hinton, that's the distance of a 3-point line from the baseline to the first student. And Brian, I have looked at other arenas, and it's not that bad. And some arenas, they might have a row or two, a millionaire row, but they'll have 10 rows of students that run the whole baseline to baseline, and then they'll have alumni behind that. We have no baseline to baseline students at all.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, Tony, and you're the one that told me how they were shrinking the student section in football, and I was totally outraged about it. Because they get the crowd going. A large number of students, they start it.
Well, of course, because you know why? Because you don't want to be seen by your friends as stepping out. So if the kids are acting like nuts, they start the fire. What we've done is Tony was not happy about it, but Tony was making like $3 million at the end, and he came here making peanuts. So
I know he wasn't happy,
couldn't, and he didn't have a leg to stand on because they moved him so they could pay a salary. But the thing is, they've lost their charm and they've lost their way in their stadium, and it's boring. And it's a beautiful stadium. It's a shame because it's a beautiful stadium and it's well done. But man, they need to figure out a way to get those students closer to the field next year. And if you have to eat some revenue to do that, you should do it. That's just my opinion, but they're never going to do that. Not in a million years.
They should. And to address another thing Jude said, we always used to wiggle our way down closer and closer as the game went on. Mm-hmm. And nobody made us move or said you can't come down there. That's another outrage.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. And look,
do they have lanyards over there yet?
Hey, Jude, I got a piece of news for you. Back in the day, if you'd have tried that in Thompson Bowling Arena during the Buzz Peterson years, they would have tased your ass. When they had the Talmart, we called them the Talmart greeters under Doug Dickey.
Yeah.
When they had the Talmart greeters, your ass would have gotten tased in the middle of the year. Am I lying, W. or Lynn?
You're right. That was when they had the fun police, like the Gestapo. And yeah.
And that lanyard, I didn't even catch what you said. Danny and his lanyards, even the wealthy that they're putting the lanyards on don't want the lanyards. They don't want that.
No, they don't.
But Danny thinks they do. Because he thinks they want to be separated and, hey, we're better. But those people do not want to wear those lanyards. They don't. They already know they're rich, Danny. They don't need you to tell them they're rich.
Yeah, we can tell where they're sitting. They're rich. We don't need any extra hints. Man can't even go to the bathroom and take his lanyard off while he's going to the bathroom.
Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Good talking to you. I got a Kentucky fan in the chat here. I gotta address him. Thank you, W. Lynn. Hey, Mr. Basilio. Brian here, Kentucky basketball fan. Okay. Why do you think Mark Pope's having such a hard time closing deals? Freeman, last example. Well, I think it's pretty simple. I think it's credibility. Look, the thing that we fail to realize is that money is pretty equal across these schools. And so if money's pretty equal across these schools, kids still want to go somewhere where they have a chance to play in March basketball and play in that showcase and play deep into it. And see, Tennessee coming off three Elite Eight appearances are approaching the portal from a position of strength. And what they're doing is they're using past players that have come here and been on these, by our standards, extremely successful teams, by your standards, somewhat successful teams. But the Elite Eight, as we know, is nothing to sneeze at. What Kentucky has working for them is, well, they've got a couple things working against them. What they've got working for them is an incredibly great fan base that I respect the hell out of. They love the sport. They celebrate the sport. And people like you deserve better than Mark Pope on a rope as your head coach. But Mitch Barnhart, I believe, and those boosters there got kind of talked into that. And the hire didn't make any sense at the time. It's making less sense now. The odd thing is that Pope did better in his first season with a ragtag group of guys than guys that he went out and recruited, which is exactly like Kim Caldwell here. And they had a team that had zero chemistry last year, like Kim Caldwell. Probably, truth be told, had some things going on behind the scenes, like Kim Caldwell. And let's hope Mark Pope's renting and didn't buy. But then again, y'all made him wealthy beyond belief. So it is what it is. But I think what's going on at that program and a few others is that the money is now equal, and the kids don't care about the name on the front of the jersey anymore. What they care about is, how hot are you? Can we win? And am I going to get my bag? And see, Freeman's going to go get a bag elsewhere. And so, just like the kid at BYU went into the portal, went there, looked around, said, no, thank you. Just like the kid from Washington, the schoolboy, went there, looked like he was going to commit, looked around, and I don't know what's going to happen to him. Maybe he bounces back to them. I say all this to say, we're putting right now what looks like a great team together, and y'all look like you're involved in mid-major players. And it's hard for me to figure that out, but I don't know. It's all hard for me to figure out. Brian, you tell me, we get another call in or are we done? It's 58 past the hour for an hour.
Well, it's almost 2, so
get paid
whatever
for
I
it.
say, you'll do the opposite.
Well, tell me what to do, Brian. You're producing.
Let's call it a day, but you'll take the call.
All right. Hi, welcome in. You're on the air.
How you doing, Tony?
You hear that, Bill? He wanted to restrict your call. Cheap shot Hartman.
Brian, I love you, buddy, but I don't know why you want to cut me. You want to restrict my call.
Brian, I was talking to Titans Bill this morning. He's got an incredible story. Titans Bill shared a ham sandwich with a former coach on UT's campus, Brian. This is an incredible story.
He shared it with me.
Okay.
Julie Herman,
Brian. Hang on. Brian, do you know who Julie Herman was on UT's campus?
I do not know that name.
All right. She was a predecessor of Eve Rackham.
Okay.
And when did Julie Herman coach volleyball on UT's campus?
I would say probably around the 1990s.
All right. And Bill shared a ham sandwich with her. Tell the story, because Bill knew Dorothy Doolittle, too.
Okay, I think it's the other way around, Tony.
Huh?
It's the other way around.
All right, tell the story.
Julie Herman had to go somewhere.
Okay.
So she asked me, would you like to have this sandwich, Bill? And I said, sure. And she was kind enough to give it to me, and I said thank you.
What kind of sandwich was it, Bill?
It was ham. It was roast beef that you would get in the counter over there at on the second floor
where Luca lives. Bill, all right, let's go back here. Brian, in your humble opinion, because Luca lives on the second floor. He's upstairs from you. I think you've seen her before. Hey, Bri, would you eat somebody's roast beef?
I wouldn't eat my own roast beef sandwich.
To the living listener, the YouTubers, would y'all eat somebody's roast beef? Bill, you can speak. Bill, you ate somebody's roast. I thought she ate your ham sandwich.
No,
I
ate hers.
Her roast beef.
Yes, she gave it to me because she had to go somewhere.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not. I am not making this up. This is a true story. Because normally I would have my lunch around 11 o'clock. Because after I get done with my lunch hour, my supervisor, which was Sandy Walker at the time, she would go to her lunch at 12. Because somebody has to be in that art history area around that time.
Bill, are you telling me right now that lady said to you, would you like my roast beef, and you ate it?
Yes, she offered it to me. I accepted it, and I ate it.
Brian, would you eat somebody's roast beef if they offered it to you like that?
She must not have been very hungry, or she ended up getting the wrong thing and didn't like the roast beef. But no, I wouldn't.
Bill, was she eating, okay, let me back up here. Bill, was her roast beef of the 6-inch variety, 3-inch variety? Talk to me.
I think it was around the 3-inch variety.
Okay. Bill, did you put Cholula on it?
No.
Do you like Cholula?
Yeah, I like Cholula, but I didn't put anything on it.
In other words, you ate that roast beef without any condiments on it.
Without any condiments on it, yes. That's a fact what I'm telling you with my hand up.
Interesting.
Then after that, I ate my sandwich my mother made me.
And what was that, Bill?
Mostly peanut butter and jelly.
You mean to tell me you ate a 3-inch roast beef sandwich dry? And then you turned around and ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on top of it?
Uh-huh. Because you know me, Tony, I'm a big eater. You ought to know about that when I go over to Calhoun's on the river and order them boneless chicken wings. What a big eater I am.
All right, let's get back to this roast beef, Bill. Describe it to me. Do you remember it?
Yeah, it was good and it was well done.
Okay. Brian, how do you prefer your roast beef?
I prefer something else.
Lane Abdullah said, for some reason, this is more gross than that conversation earlier about boogers. Bill, that sounds... so you ate Dorothy Doolittle's roast... Who was it?
Julie Herman's.
Brian, do you remember Julie Herman? Yes or no? I want to know.
No, I do not.
You have any idea who Julie Herman is?
You said a volleyball coach, an ex-volleyball coach.
Have you Googled her?
No.
Google her. See if you think she's pretty. Chances are she coached volleyball. She probably. Those people are generally.
Buddy, she's beautiful.
Go! Let's go! Bill, do you enjoy coming on this show?
Yes. I always enjoy coming on this show.
Tell Brian about your appearance on Jed and JR today and how they were not receptive of me.
Okay.
Who I think Jim Reynolds is a broadcasting legend in Chattahoochee.
Okay. I called their show this morning.
Brian, give me an update on Julie Herman before he goes. Brian, can I get an update on Julie Herman? Do you find her attractive?
Is it Julie Herman, volleyball player?
Volleyball coach.
If this is who I think she is, if this is her, I'd say maybe years ago I would have found her that way. Yeah, I don't know so much today.
Bill, this show's off the rails, man. Where is Julie Herman?
You made me say something about somebody.
Where is Julie Herman
I
now?
wouldn't like to say out loud.
Where is Julie Herman now?
She was once, I believe, the athletic director at Rutgers University.
Yeah, this is.
I remember her. That Julie Herman.
Yeah.
You ate that Julie Herman's roast beef? You didn't tell me that earlier today, Bill.
Yeah,
the same Rutgers athletic department that's hemorrhaging money, like millions of dollars.
Julie Herman from Rutgers, Bill. Why didn't you say that?
The same athletic department that's like broke.
I should have said it.
You ate the roast beef of like a legend in that whole space.
Uh-huh. we ended up being buddies, and of course I was buddies, of course, also to Dorothy Doolittle, who used to be the head track and field coach for the Lady Vols.
All right, Bill, let's go back here. My guy's on 102.3 Super Talk down there. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay.
Tell a story.
Okay, I brought your name up to Jim Reynolds, and he goes, "Oh no, you have to bring." And then Reynolds responded, "Oh no, you had to bring his name up." And I responded to Reynolds. I said, "Well, what do you want? What do you want me to do? What are you going to do, JR? Wash my mouth out with soap for cussing?" Because I brought your name up, Tony.
Bill, I love you so much. You're kind of like the man, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then you know, to make that, somebody emailed both Jed and JR and said, "Well, Titans Bill ought to talk to somebody locally." In my response, I do talk to somebody locally. I talk to you, Tony.
That's right. And you talk to Dubsy.
Yeah, and I talk to Dubsy.
And you call the animal.
Yeah. No, I don't call the animal anymore.
Why is that?
I don't deal with the animal.
Why is that?
I don't know. I would rather talk to you.
Yep.
And Jed and JR.
No offense to the animal, because I'm not here to, I'm not here to rip anybody, right? That's somehow they take sports radio and make it unfun. How do you do that in a town like this with an incredibly great fan base like we have? I mean, how do you do that with an incredibly great, fun, vibrant, vivacious, off-the-hook, nutty, insane fan base like ours, and make your show sound like you're going to a library? Do they know what they're doing, man? Bill, do you ever talk to Brian Rice?
I in the past I have, and I called Eric Ainge, and of course I can remember the time when Eric Ainge was at 1180.
Phone and how it hurt so nicely. Well, Billy, I love you. Anything else you'd care to add? Was there anything sports related on your mind today? By the way, my brother-in-law John texted me over the weekend, and he said Titans Bill was right. He said this is an awesome stadium. He was down there at Erlanger Park in Chattahoochee.
Well, you brought up the Titans. I'll tell you one person that's a big Titans fan that's Jesse's co-workers, and he's he's also an anchor person. Co-anchors the 5:30 and 6 o'clock news.
Who dat?
Andrew Harrison.
I said
he's a big Titan fan.
Who dat? Who dat? Who dat say? Andrew Harrison. Who dat? Do you remember the Saints? Oh, wait a second. Did the Bengals do the who dat? That's the Saints. And the Bengals.
Yeah, that's
the Bengals do who day. The Bengals do who day. And by the way, who dat came from the Junkyard Dog from Mid-South. Yeah. He's the one that introduced that to Sylvester Ritter. Who dat? They used to chant, who dat say gonna beat that dog?
Mm-hmm.
So, did you watch any WrestleMania over the weekend, Bill?
No.
Brian, did you?
I accidentally turned on that channel, and then I turned it to something else.
So you did watch WrestleMania. Cool. What match did you see?
I don't know. I turned the channel within 5 seconds.
I mean, Brian, what are you afraid, Brian? You're
gonna I turned it on thinking something else was on that channel, and then when I saw that, I just turned it to whatever I was trying to look for.
Did you, Bill?
Yeah.
Did you watch any of the 42nd annual WrestleMania? AKA WrestleMania Las Wages.
Pick it up.
A 2-day extravaganza. Stephanie McMahon, James Romero cut a promo on her on Saturday. They carved out a 2-hour show, a 40-minute slot for Stephanie McMahon, who is completely annoying. And I ought to know, because I'm annoying, Bill.
No, you're not.
Because somebody going to feel this. They originally had that thing scheduled for New Orleans, but they moved it to Vegas. After the financial success of last year's Mania, Bill. Thoughts on that?
Yeah. You know, Tony, all right, you're speaking of wrestling. This is the final year of Glenn Jacobs' term as county mayor.
Yes, what do you think of Glenn Jacobs, who, by the way,
I think he's done a whale of a job as county mayor here.
Kane was, well, not that one guy that's on that wants to fix our roads doesn't think so. He wants to fix our roads. I'm behind him. This damn roads in the county, you could get a car in half of them.
You know, I would like to see Glenn Jacobs, and I know I'm going to get a disagreement out of you. I would like to see
13 matches, Bill. 13 matches, because you're getting political. 13 matches, 7 on one night, 6 on the second night. Bill, the main event of Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. Who do you think won that match? Rhodes.
My guess, Randy Orton. I could be wrong.
Whose father, by the way, was a part of, do you remember? When they did the takeover in Knoxville and they double-crossed Fuller out of the Knoxville territory. Him and Bob Roop were in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Bob Orton Jr. Do you remember Cowboy Bob Orton Jr.?
I remember Bob Orton Jr.
Do you remember when Cowboy Bob Orton Jr. was the bodyguard of Rowdy Roddy Piper?
Yes.
When they went and they shaved the Haiti kid's head, who was a midget wrestler, they called back in the day. I don't know if you still call those people midgets, but that's what they called it back in the day. But he was a midget wrestler back in the day. They shaved his head, and then he ended up in the ring. They gave him a what do you call that hairdo that Brian, that Mr. T had, where you shave the side?
A mohawk.
Mohawk. They gave the Haiti kid a mohawk, Brian. One of the greatest segments ever.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill. So you got that one. Cody Rhodes defeated Randy Orton. You're right. All right, now, Brian, Bill, have you ever seen Liv Morgan, a.k.a. I think she calls herself the Man?
Yes, I've seen her.
She attractive.
And she is beautiful.
Okay. She took on a wrestler. Well, hang on. Let's go back here. Gunther. Gunther took on Seth Rollins. Who do you think won that match?
Oh, boy. I would probably say Seth Rollins, but I could be wrong.
I'm late. What's the basketball portal update? Lucas Fall, we're going to rerun the show here momentarily. Bill, how would you grade night 2 when Roman Reigns and CM Punk wrestled? Oh, Becky Lynch is the man. Thank you, big dog.
I would have to say both of them are competitors.
Yep.
Both of them despises one another.
Good point.
And I'll tell you, both of them will try to kill one another. I've seen those two go at one another, both in Raw and in I believe in which is on Channel 20, that MXT
and SmackDown. Smacketh,
and
downeth.
SmackDown.
Bill, on the way out, do you believe that Rhea Ripley or Jade Cargill, as they competed for SmackDown's WWE Women's Championship, who do you think emerged victorious there? Rhea Ripley or Jade Cargill? Both excellent
excellent wrestlers in their own right.
And both very attractive women.
Bill?
And I wish I wasn't old enough to be their father. I would probably say Rhea Ripley, but then again, I could be wrong.
Bill, Rhea Ripley.
Shirley Jones just got jealous.
Took Jade Cargill. Brock Lesnar even lost last night. I've never got the appeal of Brock Lesnar. Just never. First of all, he's hideously ugly. Secondly, he bores the shit out of me. Thirdly, I just never got it. Now, I liked him in UFC because he brought a little wrestling element to UFC, but I just don't get it. Bill, if you had one wrestler, who's your favorite wrestler, Bill, of all time?
Ron Fuller.
No question. In these parts, the day Ron Fuller passed away, Brian, and we broke into a 2.5-hour show, an impromptu program, we had elected officials calling in. We had people calling in, sharing stories. You have to admit, Brian, that's pretty next level, what Ron Fuller meant to this town, and still means.
I still don't know who Ron Fuller is.
Well, he's a Fuller Brush man. Remember him?
Man, I'll tell you what, that was a big thrill to me to meet him in person at my birthday party at Smoothie King.
No, that wasn't Ron Fuller you met there, Sheep.
Yeah, it was Ron Fuller.
You're right, it was Ron Fuller. Ron Wright passed away. God, my brain, man. God. Laura has not fed me. She texted me and said, get off the air. Your pizza's upstairs. Ron Fuller's still with us. I did what you did when you called in. How long ago was it when you announced that What's-Her-Face was no longer with us? Ric Flair. Brian, how long ago was that?
Yeah.
How long ago was that Bill tried to kill off Ric Flair, Brian? 5 years ago,
Bill's tried to kill off so many people that I can't keep them all straight and when they happen.
Bill, they're referring to you now as Deli Meats Bill. Bill, what's your favorite deli meat?
I would have to say ham.
How about you, Bri? Favorite deli meat?
I think the roast beef is the official deli meat of the Titans. And the way they played this year.
Bryant, Bill, are the Titans going to have a Super Bowl caliber team by 2030, in your opinion?
I believe they will.
And you are right. The Tennessee stud Ron Fuller came to your birthday party. That's correct.
Along with John Adams.
Yep.
And Jesse.
Jesse who?
My nephew.
Jesse.
Of course, he was still a student at UT.
Oh, my gosh. That was the day that it happened for Jesse. That was the day.
And you asked him where's your saxophone?
That was the day. That was the day that.
And Carmen Tagano was there.
Carmen Tagano was there, who's now
and Tom
Italian number 9. He's like 9th. He's fallen out of the top 5. He's Italian number 9 now.
And our buddy Tom.
Hey, Carmen, out of sight, out of mind, bro. You're falling in the mascot Italian-American rankings. I'm like 2nd. Chris Burke's number 1 right now because Chris Burke claims being Italianism because he's got half a heritage. All right, Bill?
Yes, sir.
On the way out, true or false, that's the day that Bino spoke ill of Jesse's girlfriend, and I want to know what Bino said that day. Listen to this, living listener. And this Bino guy left the room like 30 minutes ago. But, Bill, I want you to lay down the truth as you know it, my brother.
Yeah, I thought I fussed at Bino. I said, Bino, what gives you the idea that why do you say that Jesse's girlfriend is ugly? And he denies he didn't say that, but I believe he did.
Brian Hartman.
I can remember when I called your show that one time.
Brian Hartman on the way out. Do you think, once and for all, that Bino looked at Titans Bill and said, Jesse got himself an ugly girlfriend?
I don't think Bino even thought that, much less say it.
Bill, it sounds to me like you're being called a liar right now. How do you respond to that?
Well, of course, Jesse's no longer dating Caitlin. He's got a new girlfriend by the name of Courtney Goins, and she works over at Channel 3.
There goes Brian's search engine. Hey, Bill, thanks. Love you.
Love you, buddy.
Brian, tomorrow on the show, we got a special guest.
Wednesday.
Oh.
That'll be Wednesday.
Nothing tomorrow. Maury's going to join us tomorrow. Break down the latest portal
They
movement.
can't go tomorrow.
Latest portal movement. I'd appreciate a little tip action there. Those of you that have enjoyed today's show. Super chat, we went a half hour longer. I was only going to go like 20 minutes, but I started having fun today. And Bino told me not to take my... Brian, do you think I had red ass today? I thought I was in a good
Did you
mood
really
today.
just spend 25 minutes on the phone with Titans Bill?
Well, it's fun. Brian, did you...
And he'll probably be calling you later, and you'll talk
sure.
for another hour.
Sure, I love Bill. Brian, what was I going to ask? Did you think I was in a bad mood today?
Well, I just think with the baseball team that some of this stuff, some of these issues are just not new to this year. It's been around since the A&M doubleheader. Something happened then, and there was a paradigm shift, and it just doesn't feel like the same program.
And I said these guys are unwatchable. They're uninspired. Now it's affected the kid in the outfield, and they're just kind of a brutal...
After a 13-5 win, I thought, well, maybe that was a little bit
blood for Falcon
strong,
says,
but they did lose the series.
Are we tipping you or the guy from the grocery store? I'll tell you what. If y'all tip me, I make it rain on the guy. I'm gonna tip the guy in the grocery store anyway. I just couldn't give the kid a 50. That his people would have been. I mean, they've been like, you just got $50. I mean, I would have caused an international incident there. I could have made change. I didn't even think about that. I could have made change at the register. But at that point, the last thing I was going to do is get a girl on her first day to make change. She probably would have reached over and slapped the hell out of me. They were getting ready to anyway. And if you missed that story, that's part of our overtime. But we love you. Peace. Because this was the overdrive to the overdrive overtime. And there goes Brian Hartman. And there goes. And Gary Sturm.
FM 105.7.
You're my man, Gary Sturm.
AM 1340.
You're my man.
WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
Crunch time in the portal. Crunch time for the Vols. Crunch time for my 76ers. Crunch time for everybody in the NBA that it plays in the playoffs. That's the most horrendous product maybe ever this side of UT baseball and their offense. But other than that, Bino, not a lot going on in my world. I'm happy. Because that UT baseball, Bino, watching them play offense, that is a tough to watch product, my friend. How do you plead, Beanstar, on a week where the NFL draft is upon us?
Absolutely, Tony. The first 2 days were just paltry at best. I will give them credit that I thought yesterday's game was the most critical game of the entire season thus far. Probably under more pressure than they had been at any time in the season to date. And they came out and swung the bats better than they had at any point up until yesterday. So a little bit of encouragement coming out of the weekend. I thought they had to absolutely keep from getting swept. and maybe they stayed on course for the magic 13 that you're looking for.
Listen to how dark
season.
I got on
Crunch time,
Bino.
Bino.
Listen to this.
The theme of today's show,
Listen,
Brian and I
listen.
were talking about it in our pre-production meeting.
I went there
Brian,
today.
We decided on crunch time. And why is that? Why is that, Brian? Why did we decide on crunch time today? Crunch time for the baseball team. Crunch time for Rick Barnes's super fracacagalistic expiality. People are saying that when you combine already, this is before Jukey Boy on Wednesday,